Hello and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are going to be asking Spirit about your next relationship, and we'll just see what Spirit has to say today. This is the second time I'm filming this. I had intended to put it out on Valentine's Day, but it didn't pan out, and that's okay. And with that said, please feel free to pause the video, pick whichever pile is speaking the most to you, and let's get into today's reading. Hello Pile 1 and welcome to your reading. In today's reading we are asking Spirit about your next relationship or what's next in love for you. And so the first part of this reading here is going to be about the person that you are going to be in a relationship with, and then the next part of the reading will be information about what the relationship will be like. So first off, I want to say there were a few interesting things that I noticed when I pulled these cards. First of all, there are a lot of confirmations for me here that this person is very ambitious. There's also a message here that this person might be moving from one phase of their life into another phase. And I'm saying that because we do have the World card, and then we have like the Ten of Wands, and then the World, and then the Two of Wands. And for me, that's like kind of a shifting of energies here, which I'll talk about when I get into the cards. And then what's interesting is we have like a lot of multiples actually of 5. We have like a 5, a 10, 50, 15, and another 10. But when these cards came out, I was like, okay, there's 5, 10, and 50. And 5 is like a number associated with change, and 10 is a number that can be associated with, or like it doesn't necessarily have like a numerological value, because it's usually, numerology is usually related to like the digits from 1 to 9. And then like some master numbers and some karmic numbers, but I won't get into that. But 10 can be like a divine number, if that makes sense. It's like it takes whatever we're talking about and adds kind of like a divine level to it. So there might be like a change on like a divine level, and that would resonate for me because I was getting a sense, you know, I pulled both the Don Juan, these are both the light attributes, but I pulled the Don Juan and the Monk Nun card, and I was like, when I pulled this one first, when the Don Juan card came out, I literally laughed out loud because I was like, oh my god, like these are two very different energies, you know. But what I'm getting is, I think that this person is moving from a point in their life where they might have been very career focused, very achievement focused, very much focused on like what cultural expectation might dictate as markers of success, such as money, doing really well at your job, that kind of thing. I think that they're moving out of a phase in their life where, and I think that they have become very abundant. Like I think they've been very successful with you know, in their job. And you know, I'm getting the sense that this person might have generated a lot of wealth for themselves. Like I think that they're coming from a point in their life when they've achieved whatever successes, whatever material successes they wanted, and now I think they're refocusing on more spiritual pursuits. Like they've kind of, if we're talking about like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, they've kind of satisfied the bottom layer, which talks about like, you know, like food, safety, security, like making sure that our basic needs are taken care of, and they're kind of like moving up the hierarchy to more spiritual concerns, if that makes sense. So they're moving from a point in their life where they might have been showing maybe the shadow attributes of the Don Juan, into a point where it's like, this is still very much a part of their personality. Like I'm getting the sense of somebody who's very, like just knows that they're attractive, and it like they might be like conventionally attractive, but they also have a very attractive energy. And I think it's a combination of like this very ambitious spirit that I would associate with the Capricorn, and the like the bright, vibrant energy of Leo, where it's like I know I have something to offer and I want to share my light with other people. And it's like this card also talks about letting other people share their light with you, like knowing when to take the spotlight and knowing when to step back and let other people shine as well. And I think that is something that this person is very good at, and that's a very attractive energy to be with somebody who not only has a lot to offer but also thinks that you have a lot to offer, you know, who's like willing to share their energy with you like that. That's very attractive. So I just want to say this is a very attractive person, like in all senses of the word. And I think they know that, and they might have gone through phases in their life where they might have used that to their advantage. However, this is showing the light attribute. And I think that this is just like this person is aware of how attractive they are, but they're not using it for like to manipulate people. And that might have been something that they might have engaged in the past. However, I think that they are not in that energy anymore. I think that because they're focused more on spiritual pursuits right now, I think they've kind of like grown out of that, if that makes sense. So I don't want you to like worry about that. I think this is just confirming that, you know, this person has a very attractive energy, and they're probably pretty confident. Like they have a lot of self-confidence. Again, it might have at one point been kind of imbalanced, but I think that they've kind of settled into it. They've matured. That's maybe what I want to say there, especially if you have like the 510 and then the 50. The 50 speaks to me about like a maturation of this 510 energy, if that makes sense. So anyway, now that I've got kind of the rambling out of the way, let's get into the cards. So we're starting with the 10 of Wands. And I did say that, that I was seeing kind of like a progression here through these cards. The 10 of Wands, to me, talks about somebody who is very ambitious. Like this would be connected with the Capricorn card there, which says achieve. And, you know, and it's also combined with overcome any obstacle, like the Rhino spirit. It's like that I can do anything because I'm an incredibly hard worker. And it's like once I set my sights on climbing that mountain, nothing's going to stand in my way. I'm going to climb that mountain. And I think that this is a core part of this person's personality. Sometimes with the 10 of Wands, there can be a message about, like that 10 is a lot to carry 10 Wands. That's a lot, you know, and sometimes there can be a message of like, you know, we have to decide whether we want to continue to carry all this stuff up this mountain or if we want to put it down. But specifically for this person, I'm getting the message that like they love the challenge of it. I think that it's like the more challenging the goal, the more exciting it is for this person. I'm just getting that like they really enjoy pushing themselves. And in combination with the fact that we have the Devil card here, I'm thinking that this person might be a workaholic. They might like struggle with workaholism, you know, and that might be something that they've grown out of, or it might be something that they're still engaging in. So if you meet somebody and they're like they have a kind of workaholic tendency, that might be a clue that, you know, this is the person that we're talking about. But it comes from like a genuine love of challenging themselves and pushing themselves. I mean, there can be a message with the 10 of Wands about feeling burdened. But again, like I'm just getting like this is just an innate part of this person's personality. They just love the challenge of it. And even when they are feeling overburdened, you know, I think that they feel like they can overcome any obstacle, if that makes sense. But the way that I'm seeing this is they have this 10 of Wands as an innate part of their personality, right? However, I feel like they're moving away from a time in their life when they felt like they had to do everything towards a time in their life where they feel like they can do anything, if that makes sense. So we're moving from the 10 of Wands to the World card. And the World card generally talks about like when we're at the end of a cycle, like where we've achieved something, you know, this person very achievement oriented, you know, that they've carried all these wands up to the top of the mountain, and now they're at the World card. You know, they've done this part of whatever they were doing, and they're gonna, it can talk about like a graduating from one cycle to the next. It's generally a success. It's generally positive. And it's like, it can talk about, especially in combination with the 10 of Wands here, it can talk about kind of like letting something go from the previous cycle so that we can move forward into the new cycle. And that's why I was kind of saying, there's like the tendency to take on challenges might be an innate part of this person's personality. I do think they are very naturally ambitious. However, I do think they're moving into a new phase of their life now where they're much more focused on this 2 of Wands energy. And the 2 of Wands talks about recognizing basically the potential of the universe. Like it's like saying that the universe is gigantic. I think that this person might have been so focused on maybe their career or whatever they were working on, for a long time. Like that might have been a big part of the previous phase of their life that I think they're moving out of now. And I think that they might have realized, especially with the World card here, they might have realized there are parts of the world that they haven't seen. Like there's a lot of the world that they haven't experienced because they were so laser focused on whatever they were doing, or they might have been a little bit distracted with both the Don Juan and the Devil card here. You know, it could be a combination. You know, this person might have like a bit of an addictive personality. They might have been working a lot. They might have been distracting themselves with material pleasures, however that fits into whatever, you know, whoever this person is. I'm not going to say that they have substance abuse issues because I don't think that's the case. I think they might just be somebody who like works hard and plays hard, if that makes sense. Or that might have been something that was like a big part of the previous cycle of their life, but they're moving away from that now into a part of their life where they want to explore. Like they want to travel, go to places of the world they've never been, see what the world has to offer. You know, this person's literally holding the world in their hand, and then we have the World card here. So again, this talks to me about somebody who probably really wants to travel, experience new things, go new places, see what's beyond the horizon. That's exciting. That's a very exciting energy. I am getting the sense that this person might have very prominent Capricorn placements. They might not, but I'm getting specifically the idea of somebody who might have like a Capricorn moon or a Capricorn rising. And then they might also have significant fire placements, particularly Leo, but they might also have some Sagittarius with the World and the Two of Wands here. So just take that however it resonates. We do also, I want to point out, we have the Devil, which is associated with Capricorn. And, you know, the Pentacles, Earth sign, and then we have like the Wands, which are associated with fire. So that's why I'm saying like there might be a split here in this person's personality between fire and Earth, and particularly Capricorn. So take that however it resonates. And I also feel like I'm talking really fast. So, and I was in a very calm energy before I started recording, and now I feel like I'm just a little bit jittery. So, honestly, I don't know that that's this person's personality coming through. I think that it might be the case that this person has such like an attractive magnetic energy, and it's like they're probably physically attractive. Their energy is also very attractive, and they know they're attractive. And I'm just getting the sense this person might be a little bit intimidating, like for those reasons. Like not because they're trying to be, like I don't think that they, they're not necessarily somebody who bulldozes other people, especially with the Leo spirit. Like I think they like making other people feel good, you know, and that could also be combined with the Don Juan there. But like I think they genuinely like making other people feel good. You know, they wouldn't want to think that they were scaring somebody or intimidating somebody, but it's just like they might be naturally just a little bit intimidating because we have all this like strong leadership energy and a very magnetic attractive energy, and that might be why I feel like I'm really rambling. Here is just like it's just a little bit. So that might be something that that you might feel when you initially meet this person. Just because they're so attractive. So, and it could be a situation where you might feel like just jittery. Like they might give you butterflies, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. And you know, they might make you feel a little bit nervous just because, you know, this is a very attractive person. And I mean, obviously they're going to think that you're attractive too, and they're going to really like you. And that might be a little bit nerve-wracking, at least initially. So I did want to say that because I noticed that I am really rambling and feeling like my hands are shaking a little bit. So I wanted to put that out there. And then I did talk about the Devil card a little bit in relation to, you know, the ambitious energy here, and like the achievement focused energy here, because the Devil card can talk about attachments. It can talk about commitments. It can, like, the Devil card is one of those cards where it's like a lot of the cards in the tarot, you know, either they have like a traditionally negative interpretation, they have a traditionally positive interpretation, some of them are just neutral, but the Devil card usually, whether it's upright or reversed, usually has both. It's both positive and negative interpretations depending on whatever else we're seeing in the reading here. And that's why I'm kind of giving the sense that, you know, I think that it's likely this person has gone through, like they're finishing out an old phase of their life where they might have been in a workaholic energy with this Ten of Wands, which could be connected with this Devil card. And they're moving into, as with like all this kind of the repeating fives, they might be like moving or maturing into an energy where they're putting down 8 of their wands to focus on the 2 of Wands of like, I don't need to, I've done this part of my life, I don't need to worry about this anymore. I want to go and do things that make me happy. I want to go and see what's out there in the world. With the Devil card, one of those things might be, they might be looking for their future spouse. You know, and I don't mean that to say that to scare you away if you're looking for something a little bit more casual. But they could be saying like, you know, I had my fun when I was younger. I kind of did that. You know, there's maybe like a searching energy with this 2 of Wands here of like, I want to see what's out there. The Devil also talks about somebody who is prepared to make a commitment of some sort. So just take that however it resonates. But the fact that the last card in the spread here is a 7 of Pentacles is making me feel like, I think that this person is currently trying to apply the same methods that they applied to like their work life. Because I'm getting the sense of somebody who's been very successful in their career. They've generated a lot of material abundance. They're moving out of that phase in their life because they feel like, okay, I've reached the top of the pinnacle here. I want to focus on something else now. But they're using the same kind of methods and tactics and workaholic tendencies, and I think they're applying it to spiritual pursuits right now. And the thing is that they might be, I don't know if, I mean, with the Monk Nun card, they could be somebody who is like actively spiritual, like cultivates a spiritual practice. They could be somebody who like is working on manifestation and like the law of attraction, and they might call it something else. But they might be like really interested in like the energy attraction of things, and they might be really trying really hard with that. But they might be coming at it from like a viewpoint of like a transactional type of way. That's like, it's not necessarily exactly how the universe works. Like things will come in divine timing. Like they will be, you know, it's manifestation does work. However, it's on the universe's timeline, you know? So, what I'm trying to say is, I think that this person might be like, they're like, I wanted to go out and explore my spirituality, share my life, because the 2 of Wands also talks about like knowing that you have something to offer other people and wanting to share it with the world, which again is connected with this Leo card, which says shine. I think that they're like, I want to go out. I have so much to offer. They might be looking for like at least a commitment, if not like their future spouse. And they might be in an energy right now where they're like, well, when is, you know, I've done this stuff, I've done the spiritual stuff, when is this person coming in? Like, you know, where are they? I've been, you know, every time in my career, my previous cycle, when I've put the work in, I've seen the result. Like, where's the result? Like, that might be because this person's so achievement focused, so ambitious, so results oriented. It might be difficult for them to accept that some things happen when they're meant to happen, and that they just need to kind of release the outcome, like release the timeline from their control, and just know that whatever they've planted, it's going to bloom eventually. You know, but they might be kind of like in an energy right now where they're like, you know, I've been putting work in, where's my result? So I wanted to say that because I thought it was, honestly, I think it's like kind of funny. I'm feeling amused that we have the 7 of Pentacles here, because it's like the energy of somebody who's trying to apply one set of like behaviors and beliefs to something that is spirituality based. It's like taking something that worked in with like the material physical world and trying to apply it to a spiritual principle and being like, why isn't this working? Why isn't this a direct analog for whatever I was doing before? Which is just like, I think they'll figure it out. You know, this is an intelligent person. However, like, I just think that honestly it's kind of, I don't want to say cute, but But I mean, it kind of is, especially for somebody who, you know, is probably used to being like they just like, they know they're attractive, they know they're successful in like the traditional sense, like the traditional culturally accepted version of what success means. It's like they've ticked those boxes, and it's like they're trying out spirituality now, and they're like, well, I'm not an instant success at this. What's going on? You know, so. But it's not necessarily in like an egotistical way of like, I always have to be the best at everything. I think it's more just like they're a little confused, which again is, I find that endearing. I think that is endearing. So that's kind of what I'm seeing in the tarot cards. And then I did kind of talk about the cards up here, because I think they're all related. This is a very kind of a related thing, and I did think it, you know, when I pulled the archetype cards, I did think that was interesting, because again, we have the Monk Nun and then the Don Juan, and I was like, these couldn't be more different, you know, but they're both showing the light attribute, and that is telling me that this is somebody who, again, like I think they're moving away from a phase where they might have been in the shadow attribute of the Don Juan, which says using the power of romantic attraction for private agendas, and they're moving into a phase, I think, where it spotlights your positive seductive qualities. So I think that, again, like I'm just getting the energy of somebody who is just very naturally attractive. It's like they are probably physically attractive, and their energy is very attractive. And at one point, they might have used that for their advantage. It could even have been like subconsciously, like they just might not have realized that. You know, that people were being maybe more solicitous with them because they are so attractive, but they might have been aware of it, and they might have used that to their advantage. So, but what I'm getting is that I think that they have matured out of that, and now they're just in a place where I think they just feel confident. They're just like a confident person, but in the way that a Leo can be confident, where it's like they know they're a lion, you know, but they also want to like share in their lion's pride and like their community, and share their like shine light with other people, and also share their light with other people, and have other people shine their light back on them. So again, like I'm getting the energy of somebody who really likes making other people feel good, and they're no longer in an energy where they might be using their seductive qualities for private agendas. So I want to say that. And then with the Monk Nun, I think this is maybe what they're kind of progressing towards. Like again, I talked about somebody who might be trying to apply things that work in like the material world into a spiritual context, and it's not a direct translation, but they're still trying. And it says selfless devotion and single-minded dedication to spirit. With the single-minded dedication, 100% that's this person's energy. Like when they commit to something, they're like all in, you know. It's that, again, it's like that Capricorn kind of devil, 10 of Wands, Rhino spirit. There's a lot of confirmation for me here that, like, again, once this person kind of sets their mind to something, they're like, I'm doing it. Nothing's going to stop me. And it's not even in necessarily like a hard-headed kind of stubborn way, because I think that with the Rhino spirit, they've kind of grown out of this 10 of Wands, because the 10 of Wands is like, I'm going to make it up this mountain with all of these 10 wands, even though this person might not have to do that. It's like with the Rhino spirit, it can talk about learning that there are other ways to get up that mountain. Or you could put down one of your wands. Or you could, you know, like there's other solutions to overcome the obstacle rather than just powering right through it. Like there's other ways. You can find other paths, other routes. And I think that is a life lesson that this person has learned. I think that might be why the World card is here. Like there's a cycle that's ending. A cycle where they might have been in a place where they felt like they had to do everything kind of by the book. They're moving into a place now where I think they're like, well, I don't have to do everything by brute force. I can find another way around. You know, I can be flexible in my thinking. So I thought that was important to mention. I was talking about this one. So it's like a selfless devotion to spirit, and that's what's making me think that this person might be currently in a place where they've kind of shifted their focus away from maybe like their career and their work life, because I think they've like achieved whatever they wanted to achieve there, or they're like at a high enough level where they're like, I want to focus on something else. That's the message that I'm getting here, and that thing might be spirituality. They might be embracing their spirituality or just exploring their spirituality. But again, like they're going at it with like a single-minded type of focus. And then they're wondering where all of their spiritual gifts are. Like, where are they? I'm so devoted to this, and it's like, where is my reward? So I wanted to say that. And then I think I did talk about the Capricorn and the Leo. And again, I want to reiterate, this person might have Capricorn placements, they might have Leo placements. I am getting a sense of somebody who might be a mix of like earth and fire, particularly Capricorn, and like there might be some Sagittarius as well, especially with this Two of Wands card here. However, just take this, however it resonates. The overall energy here is somebody who is very ambitious, probably in the traditional sense. They also are applying their ambition towards spiritual pursuits right now, I think. And there's somebody who loves being in a crowd. I think they're very social. I think they have a very big friends group. They love being a part of their community. They love sharing things with other people. And I think they really love making other people feel seen and heard. I think that is something that they've really learned how to embrace. And I think that is something that has served them very well in their career, because they're just very good with people. And it's like that's probably helped them climb this corporate mountain or whatever they're doing with their life. That's something that really has helped them achieve a certain level of success, to put it that way. So that's what I'm seeing for this person's energy in the first part of your reading, pile one. And now I'm going to move into the second part where we will talk about the relationship itself. All right, pile one. So this energy is very exciting, and it's interesting. And there's lots of confirmations for me here about things I was seeing in the first part of the reading. But before I get into the rest of the cards, I do want to address the elephant in the room, which is that we do have the Three of Swords card here. I don't want you to panic. I don't think that this is saying that this person is going to break your heart or this relationship is going to end in heartbreak, especially because this is not the last card. The last card is the Page of Pentacles, which is a positive message. Like these four other cards here are very positive energy. The messages, the romance oracles, I'm not seeing any red flags there. And particularly in combination with the advice from your spirit guides and the two Moonology cards here, what I'm getting is this Three of Swords card here is here because this relationship, it might move very fast in the beginning. There might be, especially because we're starting with two Cups cards, this might evoke very strong emotions at the beginning. I think that there's going to be like an instant attraction to this person. I was getting that sense of like just feeling like jittery and excited, and there's butterflies and like, oh my god, this person is so attractive, and they're so like, they're treating me so nice, like they're treating me so well, they're so like it just interested in me, and like that's such an amazing energy. I'm getting the sense that this person they're a genuine King of Wands. And the King of Wands is an amazing person to be in a relationship with, and I think that might bring up stuff for you that still needs to be healed. Because especially, what do you need to release? I think that might bring up old wounds and old things from your past that it just might be highlighted, because this might come in as something where it's like a whirlwind and it's so exciting, but it's with these Cups cards, it's bringing up emotions, especially the Page of Cups can carry a message of like, not all emotions are positive, right? And Cups represents all emotions, the wide range of emotions. The Ace of Cups and the Page of Cups are beautiful cards to have in a relationship reading. They're like so romantic. It's amazing. But what I'm seeing is it might bring out, like once you realize that this is a genuine King of Wands, that might bring up stuff from your past. Past relationships, there might be like abandonment issues or something that's getting brought up here. You might have been in a similar relationship with somebody who was similar enough to this person that it might scare you a little. And the fact that they have the Don Juan archetype, you know, and a lot of other people also find them attractive, you know, and they know they're attractive, that might, you know, like raise a red flag for you, where there's like, it's not necessarily the truth, you know. Again, like, I'm just getting the sense that there's nothing to worry about with this person, but it might bring up old stuff for you that is an opportunity for that stuff to be healed. And I think the best way to move forward with this is we have 2 pages here, and the pages are messengers, and the Three of Swords is a suit of communication. And so I think that the way to move forward with this is, when this relationship, like when you feel yourself in like old hurts and old things are being brought up, I think it's important to remember that it's just old stuff that needs to be released. It doesn't necessarily apply to this situation or this person. And the energy that I'm getting from this person is they are like, this is not a commitment phobic person. Especially, we have the wedding card here. We had the devil in the last part of the reading. Like, this person, once they're in, they're like all in, you know. And this King of Wands is also it's a committed person. You know, the King of Wands is very loyal. You can trust this person. They're reliable. They're trustworthy. You know, and so. And again, we have 2 pages here. I think that the key to when, like, if and when these old feelings start coming up, just talk about them. Like, just be honest. Because this person is not going to run away from that. And in fact, with the Page of Pentacles being the last energy here, what I'm hearing is it might start off very fast. And to be like really exciting and fun. The King of Wands is such a fun energy. Like, they're so fun to be around. Like, I'm just getting a sense of somebody who's going to take you on like the most amazing dates, and you're just going to be laughing the whole time. We have playfulness here. Like, I just think that then, and this is definitely somebody who absolutely loves making you laugh, like making you smile, making you laugh. That's like their bread and butter, you know. But they're also open to having those more serious conversations. And if you need to talk about something that is like, even if it's just like, this is moving too fast and you know, because of things that happened before, I need to slow down. That's what the Page of Pentacles is saying to me, is both people in this relationship are equally committed to it. If Pentacles, a suit of commitment, right? And it's the Page. So it's like, we can take it slow. We can take it one day at a time. We don't need to rush forward into anything. It's not, the Knight of Pentacles is not necessarily fast moving either, but you know, this is, because it's the Page, it's telling me like, this is like, I think this Three of Swords almost definitely going to come up, especially because we have what do you need to release here. However, it's like, that's not the end of the story. That's just, it's coming up so that you can release and heal it, so that you can have this beautiful, amazing relationship with a genuine King of Wands, and you'll both be on the same page. That's what I'm getting from the Page of Pentacles. If you need to slow down, if you need to like say like, I'm sorry, this is, you know, this is bringing up old stuff for me, or you're so amazing and it's freaking me out. Like, whatever you need to tell this person, just be honest about it, about however you're feeling. Again, that's not going to scare this person away. This person doesn't scare easily, and they're going to be so into you, and they're just going to be like, fully ride or die. And you know, and again, like, but this card talks about like, I know I'm jumping ahead of myself here, but this Page of Pentacles can talk about like taking the time to slow down, make sure that you're both on the same page, take the time to like contemplate what you want out of this relationship, and then decide to, like, this is a card about both people deciding to commit to the relationship. So that's what I'm getting. Like, it might start off very, very fun and romantic. That might bring up old stuff. There might be aspects of this person's personality that, again, they might echo somebody that you knew in your past who didn't treat you well. And they might, like, this person might have like certain behaviors that mimic the energy of somebody who might be commitment phobic, just because this King of Wands doesn't like to be stagnant. You know, they like to keep trying new things and moving forward and doing like interesting things and stuff, but they are very loyal and committed, right? So again, like, this just might bring up old stuff, but the key is just to talk about it. talk about it, release it, and maybe meditate about it, ask your spirit guides for help in releasing whatever needs to be released, but just communicate about it. That's all. And once you do, it's going to be the start of something amazing. And there are messages about commitment here with the Pentacles, and then we do have the Wedding card. So I want to throw that out there, not to scare you, but just to say, like, this, you know, if you want a commitment with this person, they're like fully ready for that. They're ready for that in this phase of their life. So just want to say that. Again, I know I'm jumping all over the place, but I just felt like it was important to kind of get those messages out. So, and I also just want to reassure you, like, I know the Three of Swords in a relationship reading can be scary, but again, in this context, I think it's just telling you that it's likely that because there's all this like really romantic, sweet energy up front here, like feelings. This is the cards about feelings and romantic feelings, and you know, there might just be stuff that bubbles up to the surface, and it's so you can release it. So you won't need to bring it into this relationship, if that makes sense. So the Ace of Cups. As soon as this card came out, I was like, oh my god, it's beautiful. And then the Page of Cups came out, and I was like, oh my god, it's beautiful. And then the King of Wands came out, and I was like, this is amazing, you know. And so the Ace of Cups, obviously pretty straightforward message. Ace is like the beginning of something. Cups is about like emotions and relationships. So this is like a card that can be about the beginning of a new romantic relationship. It can be about the beginning of any kind of relationship, and it can be about the development of feelings. I think that this card in this deck particularly speaks to me about having an open heart chakra. And like, I think that even if you feel like your heart chakra is not necessarily fully open right now, that's okay, because I think that this relationship, when you meet this person, even if your chakra is like not open, it's gonna crack open. This person is going to help you open it. If that makes sense. And if it is open, then this relationship's gonna flow in like something beautiful and magical. The Page of Cups is such a romantic energy. It's so sweet. It's like the feeling of butterflies in your stomach. There's a flying pig on this card. It's like this relationship is going to seem like a wish fulfillment, and it will almost definitely be a wish fulfillment, and that might be part of the Three of Swords, is that this might seem too good to be true. Especially if all this, like, this is the beginning part is so romantic and exciting, and you're starting to develop feelings. I could see feelings developing very fast. You know, like maybe much faster than you're prepared for. And that might be scary. So I just want to put that out there. But I'm not seeing anything that's giving me a reason to think that this relationship's not going to work out. Like I think it really is. And part of the reason is that this King of Wands here, like this is a genuine King of Wands. I think that this card represents this person's energy. I think that it's likely that they are a fire sign. Or they just have strong fire placements, particularly Leo. There is a lion on this card. However, like even if that doesn't resonate, this is a person, again, who is very fun-loving. They love to share their energy with other people, probably very social, have a large social group. They get along well with people. They're loyal, they're reliable, they're trustworthy, and they want to have fun. Like they want to go out and see what the world has to offer. So that's echoing for me the energy of the Two of Wands. And this card can also talk about somebody who is wants to provide for other people. It's kind of like that leonine, kind of like a benevolent leader kind of energy. If that doesn't work for you and you're like, I don't like that, that's okay. I think that just might be a confirmation that I think that this person is at a point in their life where they have generated a lot of abundance for themselves, in terms of like material wealth and things like that, and they're happy to share that with whoever they're in a relationship with. I think that is how I would interpret that. And honestly, I just heard they're going to treat you like a queen. And, you know, and I don't necessarily mean that in the sense of like, you know, there's like a hierarchy and the king's at the top and then the queen is second place. I mean that like they see king and queens as equal, you know, but they're just going to, they have a crown and you have a crown. That's kind of the way that I would see that, if that makes sense. I hope that is making sense. So, So I already did talk about why I think the Three of Swords is here, but it could be that, again, that the feelings develop really quickly. You might realize, oh, this is a King of Wands. It's just like, that's an amazing person to be in a relationship with. This King of Wands might be exactly what you're looking for. And that might bring up old stuff, you know, and that's okay. Like, it's really okay that this, I mean, it happens. It happens in almost every relationship, right? We get, old stuff gets brought up so that it can be released. But the good news is this person's like fully there for that. You know, they're in a mature energy where they're like happy to have that conversation if it's going to help you release things from the past, if it's going to help you feel better, if it's going to help generate and build trust in the relationship, which is being echoed for me here by the Page of Pentacles. And I think it's really important that the Page of Pentacles is the last card in this spread here. So I wanted to say that. And then we have, again, like I did talk about, what do you need to release? I think that's very connected with this Three of Swords here. This meditate and contemplate, particularly it's a new moon in Pisces, right? So new moon, the beginning of something. We have a lot of like beginning kind of energy here with this Ace and then the two pages. This is talking to me about an opportunity to be in a contemplative energy and really think about what you want out of a relationship. And if there is things you need to release, like I think these two cards are connected, you know, think about, meditate about what you might need to release in order to have this beautiful relationship. If that makes sense. And then again, this is a new moon, beginning of something. Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. So there might be like stuff, you might be very close to the end of, like very close to, what am I trying to say? You might be very close to releasing the last bit of whatever needs to be released, so that we can move forward into the new moon. Does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense here. Either way, I think that this is just like a sign for, first of all, it's a sign to, if you're struggling with this Three of Swords, there might be a need to kind of like take a step back. The Page of Pentacles echoing this message. Take a step back. It's okay. You don't need to rush into anything. You don't need to feel rushed, even though this King of Wands might want to move a little bit faster, or might be used to moving a little bit faster than what is comfortable for you. Again, just take whatever time you need. It's perfectly okay, and it's perfectly okay to communicate that with this person. I don't think that they're going to judge you for that or hold that against you, as long as you just communicate like openly and honestly about whatever's going on for you. So that's what I'm seeing here. I also, when I see this Pisces, it's like two fish and they're like swimming in harmony. So again, I'm getting that message of like counterparts, you know, and that I think that is what it's gonna feel like. It's like I found my other half. So I don't want to get like too dramatic about it, but there's just a lot of beautiful energy here about a very sweet romantic connection. So I want to throw that in there. We do have wedding, and we did have the devil in the previous part of your reading, which can talk about marriage and in like a wedding contract. And I am getting the sense that this King of Wands, they're looking for their queen, and it's like this is regardless of gender. I want to emphasize that. You know, however you identify, however they identify, they have the energy of the King of Wands, right? And when I say they're looking for their queen, what I mean is they're looking for their counterpart, right? Like there's the two fish on these cards, right? And so this is not, again, not somebody who is commitment phobic. They're commitment oriented. And so, you know, if marriage is not for you and like you're not interested in getting married, or maybe that's too much to think about right now, and you're just like, I just want this like sweet romantic butterfly falling in love feeling, and then I want to kind of like, let's slow it down a bit and let's take it one day at a time. That's perfectly okay. This could also just mean you might meet them at somebody else's wedding, or you might meet them at a time in your life when somebody that you know is getting married. And that could just be like just a clue for you from Spirit about like maybe the timeline of when you're going to meet this person. And then we have attraction, and that kind of echoes for me that what I was saying about this person is very attractive. And it's like they're physically attractive, and I think they also have a very attractive energy. And I think there's going to be a really strong attraction between the two of you. And I think that feelings are going to develop very quickly. This card does say you attract romantic love by enjoying the moment fully. So I think that, especially with this meditate and contemplate card, there might be a need to practice mindfulness when you're with this person, instead of letting your thoughts get away from you. But you know, that's, I think, just some additional advice. I think this is just confirmation that there's going to be a very strong attraction between the two of you, which is lovely. And then we have the playfulness card, which says to recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. And I think that playfulness, that's definitely this person's energy. I think they are very playful. I did say, I think they love making people laugh. And I think it's just going to be so fun to be around this person. Like, it's no surprise, you know, that there's going to be a lot of feelings developing like really fast. And I think they have like a playful sense of humor and just like there's a kind of person who, again, like they just have very interesting date ideas and like they just want to have fun, you know. It's a committed energy, but it's also a fun-loving energy. I did mention somebody who works hard and plays hard, you know, and I think that that's going to be like a key ingredient for this relationship. And I think this is something that's not going to fade. I think that this is like the playfulness between the two of you is something that you're always going to have, even if you need to take time to have some more serious conversations. You know, I just think that there's always going to be that kind of that fun, kind of lighthearted energy between the two of you, which is very exciting. So that's really what I'm seeing for you today, Pile 1. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. If you did like it, you can feel free to give it a like. Please comment down below, let me know how it resonated for you. If you like my channel and you want to see more from me, you can feel free to subscribe. And with that said, thank you very much for watching, and I do hope to see you in my next video. Hello, Pile 2, and welcome to your reading. In today's video, we are going to be asking Spirit about your next relationship or what's coming next in love for you. It could be a relationship, could be something else, but I'm going to operate under the assumption that you are looking for a relationship. So the first part of the reading here is going to be about the person that you're going to be in a relationship with, and then the next part is going to be about the relationship itself. So I want to say right off the bat here, I'm getting a more kind of calm, grounded, peaceful, joyful energy of somebody who might have a green aura. I'm getting like there's just a lot of green kind of energy. This might be somebody who might have like a creative career or have a lot of like creative interests. I think that whatever they're working on right now is probably taking off and like receiving a lot of recognition, and I think it's a bit of a whirlwind for them. I want to say when I was pulling the cards, I had like a pit of anxiety in my stomach, and when I'm pulling cards, I usually don't get very worried, like if I just wanted 5 tarot cards, you know, and if like half the deck keeps coming out, or like, you know, if I've already pulled 3 and then I need the next 2, and then like 3 or 4 cards come out. Like, I usually don't worry about just putting them back and continuing to shuffle, because I know, like, I trust my spirit guides that the right cards are going to come out, you know, and I'm going to be able to, like, I trust my spirit guides to help me communicate whatever messages need to be communicated here, right? So, like, I usually don't worry about that kind of thing. With this pile, it was, like, constant, like going back, like, oh, do I need to take that card? Do I need to, you know, and so I don't think that was coming from me, because that's not something that I typically struggle with, and I had this big pit of anxiety in my stomach while I was doing that, and I think that that might be related to this 8 of Wands for your person. I think that right now they might be, like, I think this is their current energy, and then I think the other 4 cards here are like their personality 90% of the time. I just think right now they're just like in kind of a whirlwind of something in their life has taken off in some way. It has, if they're working on a creative project, if their career is doing something creative, I think that they've like kind of had a breakthrough. You know, it's like an exponential success. It's like things are just happening all at once, and I think that that might be contributing. If I was picking up on their current energy, they might currently be in an energy where it's like, whoa, like things have just exploded out from under them, and it's like, it's not undesired, it's not a bad thing. It's just that might be currently creating some anxiety for them over there. They might be like kind of second guessing themselves, or thinking like, okay, well, where do I go next? How do I handle this sudden success? So I just wanted to mention that at the top of the reading. And the other thing I want to say, and I'll talk about this when I get into the cards, but I know that there have been some people watching my videos who get confused when I say things like, this person has like a very balanced divine feminine, or this person is very balanced divine masculine. And I just want to reiterate that divine feminine and divine masculine energy are not connected to a person's gender, like how they express their gender in the real world. The best way that I know how to explain it is somebody who has like a really balanced or strong divine feminine energy is somebody who doesn't have to force things. Like they have kind of an acceptance that the universe will provide them with the things that they need and deserve, and that those things will come in divine timing. And somebody in a divine feminine energy is patient, nurturing, and has like a strong sense of their own worth and the worth of others. Right? And that can apply to anybody of any gender. Like there could be somebody who has a strong divine feminine energy, but the way they express their gender, like in the physical world, could be very masculine. They could dress very, very like in a stereotypically masculine way. They could like just, be very quote unquote manly, and it could be the reverse. It could be somebody who has a very strong divine masculine energy, could express their gender in a very feminine way. You know what I mean? Like, I hope I'm clarifying something here and not just making it more confusing. Somebody who has like a really strong, balanced divine masculine energy might be somebody who is assertive and responsible, organized, and disciplined. Like that's a strong divine masculine energy. And somebody could have both. Like you can have a very balanced divine masculine, divine feminine. You can be assertive, patient, nurturing, organized, disciplined, and have a strong understanding that you don't need to force things to happen, that you are abundant, the universe is abundant, and the universe will provide abundance, if that makes sense. So I hope that has kind of clarified. And the reason why I'm saying that is that we do have a lot of imagery here connected with the divine feminine, particularly the Empress. This card is usually interpreted as representing divine feminine energy. And all that means for this person, it doesn't mean that they are feminine, it doesn't mean that they're a woman, it doesn't mean that they express their gender in a stereotypically feminine way. All it means is that this is somebody who's not throwing their weight around. This is somebody who understands their own worth and doesn't feel the need to prove themselves to anybody. And it is a bit more of like a patient, gentle, nurturing energy. And the reason why I'm using those words is that message is confirmed for me multiple times with the Virgo energy, the Taurus energy, the Queen of Cups here, and the Six of Cups there. Like and especially the Child Eternal, like there's just a lot of emphasis that this is not somebody who has control issues. To put it that way, this is like much more like a go with the flow type of energy of somebody who's also very, very nurturing and family oriented. So I wanted to say that at the top of the reading so that you don't get the wrong impression here. And also, I'm not sure if I gave the best description of what divine feminine, divine masculine means, but the point is that it's just representative of somebody's energy. It's not talking about their gender. So I just want to be very clear about that. So moving on, we do have the Eight of Wands. And again, I'm getting the impression this is this person's current energy. This is the reason why I was feeling anxious when I was playing the cards. And I kept second guessing which cards to take, which is not something that I usually feel. And I was not feeling anxious before I started pulling cards. So I think I was probably picking up on this Eight of Wands energy, which again, it's not a bad thing. The Eight of Wands can talk about success. It talks about like a really quick moving success. And it can talk about when several things that we've been working on or that we've put into motion or that we've been trying to manifest all start coming in at once. And it can talk about when we have like an explosive success or like an exponential growth in terms of whatever we are working on. It might be something creative. That is something that is being confirmed for me here by the Empress. And then with Taurus, cultivate, that can also talk about, and the Eight of Pentacles, that can also talk about something that we are creating for ourselves. So that might not resonate for everybody, but if this person is working, like whatever they're working on, I think that they're having a lot of success with it, and I think they're having more success faster than they expected, and faster than they were prepared for, and they might be feeling a little bit discombobulated currently in the current moment. But it's a great thing. It's a beautiful thing that's happening. And I want to say again, like I think this is Eight of Wands is their current energy. The other 4 cards here are like their energy 90% of the time, and it's a very calm energy. So I think right now they're just like, whoa, like what's happening? Like I didn't expect my success to come in so fast and to be so abundant. However, that's the energy of the Empress, is somebody who is very abundant. And is able to attract a lot of abundance into their life just by their energy. The Empress is also somebody who is very creative, as I was saying, like it's tied to creativity and artistic expression, and it's also an energy of, and I'm going to bring this up, but again, like it's just take this however it resonates. Not every message is for everybody watching. It's a general reading, but I do want to say we have a pregnant woman on this card, a pregnant woman on that card, and then the Six of Cups, which is tied to family. And we also have child eternal. So there's a lot of messages about fertility, family, children. If that is something that you are looking for in a partner, this might be a message that this is somebody that you are going to have children or a family with. That might be something that they are very interested, because I am picking up on somebody who is very family oriented, especially with the Six of Cups here. And I'm bringing that up specifically because the Empress is also connected with fertility. So if you've been feeling like maybe you might be ready to start a family with somebody, again, this could be a message for you that this might be the person. I think they're very family oriented. However, if that message is not for you and you're not interested in having children, or you're not ready yet, I wouldn't worry about it. This could just be saying that this person has a very nurturing energy. It could be saying that they love children. It could be saying that they work with children. It could be saying that they come from a large family. Just take it however it resonates for you. So I wanted to say that about the Empress. And then we have the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups is a beautiful energy. It talks about somebody who is very emotionally open. Like again, I was picking up on that like kind of green energy. There's a lot of imagery here related to like gardening and like planting things, especially associated with the Empress. We have wheat on the Virgo card. We have Taurus, which says cultivate. We have this person maybe working in like a flower shop or a plant nursery. There's lots of imagery about gardening, about being outside and plants and nature. So that could be a reason why I'm picking up on kind of like a green energy, like the green of the, the grass and the trees, etc. However, I think this person also has a very open heart chakra, and I think that's connected with the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is somebody who's very emotionally intelligent. They're very in touch with their emotions, and is somebody who gives great advice, is always there as a shoulder to lean on, always knows like the right thing to say to make somebody feel better. It is a very nurturing energy, very family oriented, and really cares about taking care of other people, while at the same time making sure that their needs are met. And that is one of the qualities of the Empress, representing the divine feminine, is making sure everybody's needs are met, including our own. So the Queen of Cups is somebody who's very easy to talk to, and you don't have to worry about this person being judgmental or making you feel bad for whatever's going on in your life. They're always going to kind of be able to see things from different perspectives. And that's also associated with the Virgo energy of like giving great advice, because they can kind of use their discernment to figure out kind of like the heart of the matter, or like what's the important piece here. And at the same time, they can see the big picture and see where things kind of fit into the bigger picture. And I also want to say there is a connection between the Queen of Cups and Taurus, because Taurus is associated with like sensuality, like the physical world, and like the physical five senses. And there's Virgo, they're like sticking their hands in and feeling that wheat, and like perceiving things through the senses. And I could see the person on this Queen of Cups also holding a shell and kind of enjoying being there and holding that shell with the water in it. I just realized that there might be a connection with the goddess Aphrodite. If you've been working with Aphrodite, this might be a confirmation for you that whatever you are working on with her is connected with this relationship. Only take that if it resonates. But there is a connection between the Queen of Cups and the kind of like sensual nature of Taurus, because the Queen of Cups is somebody who gives great hugs and like enjoys connecting with people through their senses. I mean, the energy of the Queen of Cups, I wouldn't worry if you are not somebody who is very sensual or tactile and you don't really, like, physical touch doesn't really do it for you. I wouldn't worry about that, because the Queen of Cups is somebody who would fully respect that, would kind of meet you wherever you are, and take you however you are, like this is not a person who needs things to be a certain way, if that makes sense. But they are very good at giving hugs, if that is something that you do enjoy. Then we have the Eight of Pentacles, and again, I would connect this with Taurus a lot. It's like that, the hardworking energy of the Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles represents like showing up every day and putting the work in, and you see this person's kind of like trying different things to mix potions in an apothecary shop, and it's like it can talk about taking classes and skill building and especially if it's connected with something that has to do with like a creative enterprise or creative career. It could be that this person has like a day job and then they're just doing something as like a side hustle, and it's taken off. Like it's receiving recognition or success that's unexpected or much faster, I think, than they expected. But whatever it is, they're working really hard on it, and that's, I think, part of their personality is just like calmly, day by day, putting one step in front of the other. And I think that, again, like they're not usually in this discombobulated kind of, oh, am I doing the right thing kind of energy. I would see them as being very like calm and steady, and just kind of like, methodically making progress, and having faith that, that the universe will provide whatever they need. However, I think that this has kind of like thrown them off balance a little bit, and I don't think it'll take very long for them to regain their balance. And that's also connected with this Sandpiper spirit, which says, be playful. I would see this card being connected with the Child Eternal, but the Sandpiper spirit talks about if you're feeling overwhelmed and like you've kind of been thrown off balance, connect with your inner child, connect with the playfulness and joy of the world, and just have fun with it. And I think that is something, like, this is an innate part of this person's personality. They're not going to be off balance for long, because they know that the way to get out of this kind of like, oh my god, whirlwind kind of energy, and like the overthinking, and if they have a pit of anxiety in their stomach about like, oh, I'm being recognized for this, and now there's expectations, and how do I know I'm going to meet those expectations? They're not going to stay in this energy for very long, because they have the Sandpiper spirit, and they're going to be able to bring it back to, okay, I'm going to take a deep breath and I'm going to refocus on why I started doing this, which is that it's fun and I want to have fun with it. And I'm just going to take it day by day, step by step, get back into my Eight of Pentacles energy, my Taurus cultivation energy. I'm going to digest what's happening here, and I'm just going to take it one step at a time and have fun with it. Make sure I continue to have fun with it, because that's the purpose here. So that's what I'm seeing with the Eight of Pentacles. And then we have the Six of Cups, and this card can talk about like nostalgia, it can talk about old memories, and it is very connected with the energy of the number 6, which is about like home and family and domesticity and like children. Like, that's why I'm bringing up that idea that this person is likely family oriented. That could be talking about their family of origin, or it can be talking about the idea that they want to have children. This could be again, like if you are looking to settle down and have children, this might be a clue that this person is ready for that. If not, again, don't worry about it. That message is not for you. So, but they are probably family oriented. That's what I'm picking up with the Six of Cups. And it could be, this is like just part of their personality, but it could be that you might already know this person. Sometimes when the Six of Cups comes up in a relationship reading, it can carry a message about somebody you already know, but that won't resonate for everybody, and this is part of their personality. This spread is not about your relationship, it's about their personality. And I think that this might be somebody who really likes to kind of like commemorate things. They might be somebody who takes a lot of pictures or likes to like make scrapbooks, or like that might be one of their like, I don't know if it's a love language, but that might be one of their ways to express the things that mean a lot to them is by like they might give you like a little keepsake, or they might hold on to something from like your first date, or they might do some gesture like that that's tied to like a happy memory that you have, like, because I think that those things are really meaningful for this person. And so I'm going to address kind of the prostitute archetype here. First of all, I want to say every single person has the prostitute archetype. It is not unique, but when it comes up as somebody's like one of their core archetypes, I tend to interpret that this person might have had a challenging childhood, or gone through a challenging period in their life where they might have been in survival mode, and they might have had to ask themselves the question about what they were willing to do in order to survive. Because the light attribute of the prostitute archetype says, accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. And again, this is like it says prostitute. I don't know why they chose to use that word, but it is more about, are you going to sacrifice something on a spiritual level in order to survive? The answer to that question when this card comes out with the light attributes is that's something that this person is not willing to do. They're not going to put being in survival mode ahead of the things that they need on a spiritual level. I hope that makes sense. Like, they're not putting their material needs ahead of their spiritual needs, if that makes sense. But that might be something that they felt they had to do at one point in time in order to survive a certain situation in their life. This might be part of one of their life lessons, is not to sacrifice their spiritual needs in order to have their physical needs met. And the reason why I'm saying that is the Six of Cups could be saying, this person is very connected with their family of origin. However, with this prostitute card here, this person might be estranged from their family of origin. They might have gone through a lot in childhood. They might have trauma from their childhood. What I'm seeing is, if that's the case, I think they have largely healed it. And I think that they might have had to reparent themselves, because they also have the eternal child archetype, which is telling me, like, this is just speaking to me about somebody who has a healthy inner child, or a healthy relationship with their inner child. And one of the reasons why the Six of Cups might be here is this person might have realized that they might not have grown up with a family of origin that took care of them the way that they needed to be taken care of, at least not on a spiritual level, and they might have needed to reparent their inner child, and they might have a real focus on family and nurturing others because they did not receive that growing up. And so that might be one of their core values, because it was something that they needed to heal in themselves, if that makes sense. So the light attributes of the child eternal are determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, and the ability to see things with fresh eyes. And I think that the ability to see things with fresh eyes might also be related to an internal child, eternal and internal. I get confused, but like an inner child healing might be connected with the ability to see things with fresh eyes, because it can talk about going back through old memories and reframing our experiences in the context of what we know now. That can be helpful in terms of healing our inner children. And then when it says determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, I would connect that with the sandpiper spirit, which says be playful. I think this person is very connected with their inner child because they've had to learn how to do that in order to like reconnect with their inner child so that they're no longer kind of just in survival mode, if that makes sense. And then there's also with to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, a focus on a body would also be connected, I think, to Virgo, because Virgo is connected with things like self-care, which can include, taking care of our body, however that applies to us. All right, pile 2. I'm sorry if the lighting has changed a little bit. I actually had to stop filming for a little while because I think there was a snowplow outside and it was right under the window. So it got very loud. But I just wanted to finish off this part of the reading by talking about some numerology things. I noticed a lot of 6s. We have a 6 on the Virgo card. 51 reduces to 6. And then we have the 6 of Cups. And 6 is like the number of like home and family and domesticity, and it's repeated here multiple times. So that's just confirming for me the idea that this is somebody who might be very family oriented. They might be a bit of a homebody, but maybe not. There's a lot of imagery here about being outside. They might love to travel. They might love going to the beach or going camping in the forest, or they just might love the outdoors. I'm also sorry if you can hear my cat. He's a little overstimulated right now. So I did want to talk about the 6s that I was seeing. We also have 8 here. We have the 8 of Wands and the 8 of Pentacles. And 8 is like an energy that talks about, like the practical side of matters, which I can see here with Taurus and the Pentacles and all this earthy energy. And it also talks about like abundance and material success, like being in like a kind of a money-making kind of energy. And so I could see, like, again, that message is coming in for the abundance of the Empress, and then the 8 of Wands, which does talk about success and being very successful at something, perhaps a creative pursuit. But even if this person has a day job, they might have a creative hobby on the side. I know I already talked about this, but I just want to reiterate it. If they have a creative hobby on the side, or like a side job, or like something that they were doing like while they were also working to pay the bills, I could see it might be, as I said, like taking off right now, kind of in an unexpected way that's much faster than they anticipated. So that's kind of being confirmed by the 8s here. And then I did want to mention the number 2, which is associated with like partnerships and relationships and harmony. Like it's something that I would really kind of relate to Libra. So that's why I wanted to mention that, like, all the 6s, I think I would connect with Cancer, especially with the Queen of Cups here, and then the 2 on the Taurus I would connect with Libra. Like, I just think this is somebody who gets along well with people and has an interest in creating a harmonious relationship, which, Libra is an air sign. But again, I would connect that with the energy of a Queen of Cups. So I wanted to put that out there, and with that said, I am going to finish this part of your reading today, and I'm going to move on to the second part, which is going to be about your relationship. All right, pile 2. So there's a lot of information here, and I'm going to try my best to remember everything. First off, I want to say a few things. When I was pulling these cards, I had that anxiety in the pit of my stomach, and I kept like pulling cards, and then a bunch of cards would fall out, and then I'd kind of fixate on one of them, and then I'd keep asking, should I take this? And then feeling unsure about it and putting it back, and then it would show itself again, and particularly the card in the 5th position. There were a few cards that came out with the Hermit. There were, and I'll talk about 2 of them that I think were significant, but in the end, the Hermit felt like it was the best fit for the 5th card position. But what I'm getting from this is your person might be feeling anxiety right now. Their anxiety might be coming through because they might recognize, and this, I have a specific message to give. It might not resonate for everybody, but I would be remiss if I didn't talk about it. I feel like the cards here have one interpretation that is related to, if I was going to read this as what's going to happen in this relationship. These cards have another interpretation that's kind of like a shadow message here from your spirit guides that you might not be ready for this relationship just yet. So I'm going to give every interpretation I can give. I'm going to mention the extra cards that wanted to come out with the Hermit. Hopefully I'll be able to give enough context that everybody who's watching this pile can hopefully take something from it. And it's not a negative thing. Like the message I'm getting here is this is not a negative thing. You know, you can still come into a beautiful connection with the person that I was talking about in the first part of the reading. They're a great person to be in a relationship with. I think they're being represented again here by the Queen of Pentacles. So they're almost definitely an earth sign, or at least have a few earth placements, because they just have that very like grounded, down to earth kind of energy. You know, we do have the romance oracle cards are not giving me any kind of like reason to be concerned that that this relationship won't happen, or that if it does happen, it will be negative. I'm not getting that message at all. All I'm getting is there might be, again, like just a shadow message, because a lot of these cards are talking about needing to take time, needing to trust that things are going to happen in divine timing, and taking time to evaluate what it is that you want, and to release things that are no longer serving you, and to decide how you want to move forward, and to be in your energy for a while. So that's why I'm kind of bringing up that I think that the you know the straight interpretation of these cards is positive, and I will talk about it. I just also wanted to mention that I think your spirit guides are taking the opportunity to give an additional message. I think it's really important that these were the cards that came out, and I think that even if your next partner who's going to be the person in the first part of the reading, they might have wanted the two other cards to come out. I think your spirit guides made sure it was the Hermit here because they wanted this extra message to come through and to be coherent. So I'll talk about that. I just wanted to say that at the top of the reading. And again, I don't want you to panic or worry. The message here is basically, don't rush into anything. And just be patient, because this is when it comes in, this is going to be a beautiful relationship. Again, the person I was talking about in the first part of the video it's just an excellent person to be in a relationship with. They're very ready for a relationship. And the message here may be that your spirit guides just want you to focus on yourself right now, before they bring this relationship towards you. So I felt like I had to mention that at the beginning of the reading. Only take it however it resonates. If you feel like that message is not for you, then it might not be for you. So again, just take whatever resonates for you. And I am going to get into the cards. So what's interesting is we do have the Empress again, and we also have 3 major arcana. So it feels like this is like a significant relationship, which would make sense to me based on, you know, the energy that the other person is in. You know, and if they're a Queen of Pentacles being represented here by the Queen of Pentacles, this is somebody who is not afraid of commitment. And so this definitely could be a significant relationship in your life. We do have the honeymoon card, so there's a chance that this is going to be the person that you are going to marry. And with the Empress, this card carries a message, again, like about you can't rush the real thing. You know, it's one of those relationships. It's just going to unfold naturally. It's going to unfold the way it's supposed to, and it's going to feel very natural. It's like it can't be forced. It's basically like, let's take it one day at a time, one step at a time. This relationship's going to come in when it's meant to, exactly the way that it's meant to happen. And again, that's why I'm kind of interpreting this as there might be an extra message from your spirit guides, just to be patient, because they're like, if this relationship is what is in this person's womb, they're cooking it to perfection before they're going to bring the two of you together, if that makes sense. Like, it's got to go to full term before you know, it can reach its full potential, if that makes sense. And again, like, I feel like I have to mention this, even though it might not be a message for everybody, so only take it if it resonates. The Empress, again, associated with fertility, And the Queen of Pentacles is also associated with fertility. So if that's a message for you, like if you're concerned about, you know, am I going to have children with this person, etc., that might be a message that this is the person you are going to start a family with. But again, if that is not a message for you, you don't have to take it. So that's what I'm seeing with the Empress. We have the Ten of Wands, which carries like a few different kinds of messages. This could be saying that this could be Spirit's way of acknowledging that your past, like your road in terms of your past romantic connections might have been difficult. And if that's the case, then the good news is you're at the Ten of Wands. So you're like closing out that cycle. This could also be talking about a relationship that comes in when we have a lot of other things on our plate, which honestly, it could apply to you and it could apply to them. You know, because you know, I was seeing that they were receiving a lot of like very fast moving kind of sudden success, and I was feeling like they were a little bit overwhelmed. That could be like saying like this relationship's going to happen how and when it's meant to. This might be a clue that it might happen at a time in both of your lives when you're not expecting it because you have so many other things going on. And it's like, okay, well, now I got to balance this relationship on top of everything else. But as always, you can choose what to take on and what to carry. And this relationship is going to feel very natural. You and this person are going to be on the same page. You're going to want the same things out of this relationship. And this Queen of Pentacles is very patient, you know, and they're like willing to wait for the right thing. And I just got an intuitive message. If you're resonating with the idea that you might still have some growth or releasing or whatever it is to do before this person comes towards you, as that might be difficult to hear. I know that I hate hearing that when I watch relationship videos, but it's like I hate it because sometimes I know it's true. If you're resonating with that, then I would just see this Ten of Wands as like confirmation that you are close to closing out this cycle, but the Ten of Wands can talk about maybe feeling like burdened, you know, and like there's just so much going on, and this could be just an additional message from Spirit. Like one of the reasons why this might take a while and require a little bit of patience might be because they want to make sure that you're no longer in this Ten of Wands energy when this relationship comes in. Or it could be that you're just releasing at the end of this cycle when you come together with this person, and so again, it could feel a little bit overwhelming at first. Like it's like, why did this happen now when I have so much other stuff to deal with? But it is going to be very positive in the long run. So I want to say that, and then I was seeing the Queen of Pentacles as the other person's energy, particularly because we had the Virgo, we had Taurus, we've had the Empress twice. So I think it's likely that this person is an earth sign or has significant earth placements. So I would definitely see them being represented by the Queen of Pentacles, and having that very like nurturing, down to earth, grounded, very calm and serene sort of energy, very patient. And it's like it's a similar energy to the Queen of Cups, but also with like a very kind of practical mindset. The Queen of Pentacles can also, like when it comes up in a relationship reading, can also carry a message about needing to focus on self-care. So again, this card also has a message that might be from your spirit guides saying like, just focus on yourself right now. You know, this thing, it might come in at an unexpected time when you're not even focusing on romance, but it'll happen however it's meant to happen. And they really want you to focus on taking care of yourself. That could be a reason why the Queen of Pentacles came out. It's like this represents this person's energy, and it's also a message from your spirit guides that they want you to focus on taking care of yourself. And then we have the Chariot. And the Chariot is definitely a very positive card when it comes out in a relationship reading, because to me this talks about being able to move forward together, and we're able to do that because we both want the same things out of a relationship. It's like our Chariot's just going in we're not pulling in two different directions because we have different visions or different intentions. It's like we're both going in the same direction, so because we both want the same things out of the relationship. So again, just like a very positive kind of straightforward message. So what I'm seeing with that is that when you do come into a relationship with this person, again, it's gonna feel very natural because you're both just gonna be on the same page, you know. And these are both, again, they're both major arcana. It's like on a soul level. It's like, yeah, like we're meant to go on this journey together. I feel like that's what it's going to feel like, and it might be like a literal journey, because the fifth card we have here is the Hermit. And I'll talk about that in a second. I just, if there's an additional message from your spirit guides with the fact that the Chariot card is here, it's, I think, to take a moment to set your intentions, because this could also be a message from your spirit guides. Whatever you're trying to manifest is coming towards you. Your manifestations are working, and please keep doing it. Luck is on your side. It's coming. We have the new moon, the new love. It's in the cards for you, and whatever manifestation work you're doing or you're about to do or you're going to do, setting an intention is going to be very positive for this relationship. So I wanted to say that as well. Then we do have the Hermit, and this is the fifth card. I believe this is the card your spirit guides wanted me to pull. I think that the person you're going to be in a relationship with, they also did want me to pull this card, but they wanted to give clarifiers for why it's here. And I was like, I can't take any clarifiers, but I have remembered the other two cards that wanted to come out. It was the Eight of Cups and the Five of Swords. And so that's why I felt compelled to give the message that you might not be super ready for this relationship, because there might be other things that you need to release, possibly due to this Ten of Wands energy. Maybe you've taken on a lot. It could be a pattern in relationships. You take on a lot of energy from the other person. You might not have had like an equal balance in the relationship, and that could have caused you to hide yourself away in some way, like put on a mask or put on an armor, or hide your heart in some way. That I think is being, like, your advice here is to show the world the real you with the full moon in Aquarius. It's like, don't worry, luck is on your side. This new person's coming in. What your spirit guides want you to do is show the world the real you. And I think that this might be an acknowledgement that you've been in a hermit mode. This might be encouragement for you to continue to stay in your hermit mode, if that is something that you need to work on right now. And this card could have a million different messages, but this could also be connected with the retreat card and the honeymoon card, in terms of when you come into a relationship with this person, you might like basically run away together. You might get on your chariot and like just go somewhere else, retreat. It's time to disconnect from the world. Like, it could be, if you're vibing with the idea of somebody who is like very connected with nature, very outdoorsy, as a Queen of Pentacles would be, it could be that they have like a cottage somewhere, or like like their home is a retreat for them. And it could be that the two of you go off in a retreat somewhere. I am seeing the two figures on this card look like they're wearing like wedding clothes. And so it could be, and we do have honeymoon. This could be somebody that you are going to marry, if that is a message for you. And it could be that you end up eloping, or, if there's too many obligations, too many expectations, if you are somebody who feels very obligated to do things a certain way, maybe you have very overbearing family members who expect you to have like a big fancy wedding or to do things a certain way. Like this relationship is going to feel so natural. You're immediately going to be on the same page as this person, and it might be healthy and helpful for your relationship for the two of you to just retreat together into your own world together, where you can be your authentic selves together. And I'm just seeing that this is going to be like an extended honeymoon for the two. Even if you don't get married, even if that's not for you, this retreat is going to feel like a honeymoon, because you're enjoying spending holiday time together away from whatever you're moving away from there on your chariot, if that makes sense. So I do want to address the clarifiers on this card. The Hermit talks about a retreat. It talks about taking time to do self-reflection, taking time to kind of like disconnect from other people and other obligations, to take some like solo retreat time to figure out what your priorities are, reconnect with yourself, and just discover who the real you is, so that when you decide to come out of your hermit mode, you can show that person to the world and feel confident doing that. And the fact that it is, I didn't put the clarifiers out, but they did want to come out with this card. the fact that we had the Eight of Cups and the Five of Swords is telling me there might be something related to this Ten of Wands that has to do with when you go into your hermit mode and you're like doing self-reflection and stuff like that. It might be helpful to focus on letting go of things that are no longer serving you with the Eight of Cups, particularly things related to past relationships. If there is somebody that you need to walk away from, I think you're being encouraged to do that. Like, you don't need to carry 10 wands. You don't need to do it in this relationship. You don't need to do it in any relationship. If that is not working for you, you can put those wands down. That's a choice that you get to make. You know, and you deserve to make that choice for yourself. If it's not working for you, it's okay to walk away. And I think that this hermit mode is going to help you discern what you need to walk away from, and what you can hold on to, if that makes sense. And then with the Five of Swords, it's just like an additional context in terms of things that you might have been through in the past. I feel like the Five of Swords it's not a great card for, like, it's just, it almost always carries a negative message. It's like talks about conflict, it talks about toxic people in our lives, it talks about like being in a very cutthroat environment, and like not feeling supported, not feeling loved, feeling attacked, and it can also talk about like feeling really guilty. If there's something that is causing you to feel guilt or shame, or like you're surrounded by people who are not on your side, who are not on the same page as you, if that is something that you need to, with the Eight of Cups, if that is something that you are being encouraged to walk away from for your own well-being, then that might be something that you can come to those realizations in a hermit mode by taking time to retreat into yourself and to do that work. And once you've done that, then this relationship might come in. So that might be an interpretation here. Again, there's also a potential interpretation, if none of that is resonating for you, there's an interpretation that the two of you are just going to go on a retreat together. And it's going to be beautiful. You know, you can be yourselves with this person in a way that it might not have been safe to be with anybody else. You know, you can show this person the real you, and because they're an Empress, they're a Queen of Cups or a Queen of Pentacles, regardless of their gender. Again, I want to be very specific about that, because they're in those energies. It is extremely safe to be your authentic self with this person, and they are also going to be very authentic with you. You will not have to worry about this person hiding things from you, or stabbing you in the back, or being judgmental, or putting undue burdens or obligations on you. However that applies to you, you will not have to worry about any of that with this person. And then I talked about most of these cards, but I do also want to talk about the new love card. And I know I mentioned in the previous part of the reading that the Six of Cups, sometimes in a relationship reading, can talk about somebody that we already know, and particularly can talk, like, even if you haven't met in this lifetime, it can talk about like a soulmate or somebody that your soul recognizes on some level. However, I don't think that applies here because we have the new love card. So that I'm taking this as confirmation that this is going to be somebody totally new. And somebody you haven't met before. And I'm also reiterating that because there could be a potential interpretation with these cards that you might have clicked on this pile, even though it says like what's next or what's new, and you might currently be in a relationship. And like, if that applies to you, only take it if it applies to you. In that context, I think you're being encouraged to let go of the relationship that you're in if it is not working for you, if it's not a healthy relationship for you. I think you're being encouraged to walk away from it because you have a new love coming in who's going to be a Queen of Pentacles in this beautiful energy. Your spirit guides want you to know that everything's going to be okay. They want you to focus on taking care of yourself, setting your intentions for this new love that's going to be beautiful. You're going to have great luck in love, and you're going to be able to show this person your true, authentic self, and they're going to love that person. They're going to love the person inside of you instead of the whatever public persona you portray yourself as, you know, and it's going to be very natural and feel extremely easy. So I wanted to give that additional interpretation. I know that that might have been a little bit confusing. I'm just getting the sense there's multiple ways that I could read these cards. Some might apply to some people watching, some might apply to other people watching. So as always, please only take whatever resonates for you. And with that said, I hope that this has been able to give you some clarity today, Pile 2. If you did enjoy the video, you can feel free to give it a like. Please comment down below and let me know how it resonated for you. If you like my videos and you want to see more from me, you can feel free to subscribe to my channel. And with that said, thank you very much for watching Pile 2, and I hope to see you in my next video. Hello Pile 3 and welcome to your reading. In today's video we are going to be taking a look at your next relationship, what's next in love for you. I am operating under the assumption that it is going to be a relationship, but we'll see what comes out in the cards. So this first part of the reading is going to be about the person that you're going to be in a relationship with. And then the next part of the reading we will take a look at the relationship itself and see what we can see about that. So I do want to say right off the bat, I think it's interesting that the first two cards on both rows that we have here are number 1 and number 1. What I'm getting from that is I think that this person is just starting a new phase. And that is confirmed for me by the message of the Judgment card and the Armadillo Spirit. I think that they're starting a new phase where they're really kind of like taking a look at their old patterns of behavior and trying to figure out what they do want from a relationship. And that's going to include learning how to, I think that they've learned that they need to set healthy boundaries. I think this next phase that they're just beginning right now is going to be about learning how to enforce those boundaries and kind of adjust them as needed. I think I was hearing something when I was looking at the cards about a pendulum effect, and the way that that was described to me when I was in therapy was it's common for people who have to learn how to set boundaries. First of all, I think that it's likely that this person in the past, in the previous phase, might have struggled with codependency. And they're learning how to move into, this new phase is about learning how to create a new pattern of behavior that is not codependent. So I just want to say that. But with the pendulum effect is something that I learned when I was in therapy. And it can, it's not a bad thing. It just might be, that might be kind of what this, a part of something that this person needs to learn in the next relationship is for somebody who is used to having no boundaries. When we finally learn and accept that it is okay to set boundaries and that we can determine the kind of behaviors that we will and won't tolerate from other people, when we learn, what is a healthy boundary, why do we need boundaries, boundaries are there. If I set a boundary, it's there to protect me. And it's not really about the other person. It's we can't set boundaries at somebody, It's more like, if anybody does this behavior, or if anybody approaches me in this energy, or if I have a boundary here, if anybody comes towards and tries to overstep that boundary, then there's going to be a predetermined consequence for that. And a lot of the time for me, that consequence is I'm going to remove myself from the situation. But for example, a boundary that I have that is a healthy boundary for me as somebody who is in recovery is that I don't allow alcohol in my home. So, and the way that I would set that boundary is it doesn't matter who's coming over. It could be somebody who's very well-meaning. It could be somebody who doesn't know that I'm in recovery, might bring a bottle of wine as like a dinner party gift or something. If they were to do that, if I'm honoring my boundaries, I need to be in a place where I feel comfortable telling that person that I think that they should leave that bottle of wine in their car or whatever it is. It's just I'm not going to let it over the threshold into my home. And that's a boundary I've set for myself that has nothing to do with the other person or what their intentions are. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So what can happen with the pendulum effect is as when we're learning how to set those boundaries, a lot of the time we can set a lot of boundaries and be very firm about it. So it's like going from one extreme to the other, like the way that a pendulum does. And it's not a bad thing. Especially if that's what somebody has to do in order to start feeling safe, then it's absolutely not a bad thing. But I think part of learning how to live with boundaries is saying, okay, this boundary is it's a little strict, and I don't need to be that strict about it. And I feel safe kind of moving my boundary back a little, like adjusting it a little, changing which, you know, how I respond to that behavior or what the consequence is for that, if that makes sense. So I hope I'm making sense with that, but I was hearing something about the pendulum effect, that this person, it might just be in a phase where they're just learning how to set healthy boundaries, and they might have like this strong armadillo armor on where, you know, it's like they might be like a little overly zealous about it, but that's okay. It's like that's a healthy step to be in when we're just learning how not to be codependent in relationships. So that's kind of what I'm picking up that I think this person is currently working on. I also want to point out there's a lot of green here. Both of the archetype cards are green. There's green on the armadillo card, and there's just like a lot of green. I think this person is currently working on their heart chakra. And I think it has to do with like both sides of that coin of wanting to be open to love and keep it with the Page of Cups here, and to kind of like be in a receptive energy to new relationships and to new people, well, at the same time with the Two of Swords here, using our discernment to figure out what is, and especially with the Four of Cups too, figuring out what is working for us and what doesn't work for us, and not feeling guilty for saying that doesn't work for me. You know, that's not what I'm looking for. However, I'm going to remain open to the possibility of a relationship with somebody. It's not about being like totally closed off, but that can be like a hard thing to learn how to balance. It's like keeping our heart open while at the same time honoring what things are meant for us and what things are not working for us. So that's kind of like off the top of the bat, those were the impressions I was getting when I was pulling the cards. And so I will get into the cards themselves. So the first two cards we have here are the Magician. And again, I thought this was interesting. This is not the first card in the tarot deck. It's the second card in the tarot deck, but it is number 1. And so is Aries. And I think this card is sometimes associated with Aries just because they're both 1. You know, this is the first sign of the zodiac. So this person, they could be in Aries. I want to say I'm not 100% sure about that. They could have Aries placements, definitely. But I will say, like with pile 1, I was picking up on someone who like definitely had a very cardinal energy, and it was more associated with Capricorn, but it was like definitely felt very, very cardinal. With this person, I'm not 100% sure about that. They might be a water sign, in fact, with the Two Cups cards that we have here, but I'm not necessarily getting a strong read in terms of a zodiac sign. So I just they might have Aries placements. I'm not 100% sure that is like one of their main signs. But again, just take that however it resonates. So the Magician is a card that talks about accepting and embracing our personal power, and especially accepting and embracing the power that we have to manifest and create the things that we want out of our life. And there's also a message with this card about setting intentions, because the Magician is a master manifester, right? They're a master at it. And so what I'm seeing is this person starting a phase of their life where they are starting to realize that they can manifest whatever they want through setting intentions and then taking actions towards whatever it is they want, whatever outcome they want. And that's a very exciting time. That's a very exciting thing to realize, like, oh, I don't have to stay in one place. I don't have to repeat the same old patterns of behavior that I was repeating before, like whether that involves codependency or whatever was going on for this person, or having like a closed heart chakra, whatever that meant for them. I think they've recently ended a phase where they were like that, and they're starting a new phase where they're like, oh my God, I can do anything, you know, and that's a very exciting energy. It's a very exciting energy to be in. And at the same time, we also have the Page of Cups. And I think the Magician and the Page of Cups are representing this person's current energy. And I think the next 3 cards are explaining why they're in this energy, if that makes sense. Like, I think that they're starting a new phase where they're focusing on setting intentions, and like figuring out what they want and need, and making sure that they're doing whatever they need to do to manifest those things. And they're also in an energy where they, I think, are being receptive. Like they're opening their heart chakra. They're being receptive to the idea of new connections, new relationships. And there could also be a message with the Page of Cups about artistic expression. I mean, the person on this card is painting. There's also a message about, because this is a page, and the page is the youngest of the court cards, this card is connected with like innocence and naivete, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because it also talks about like romanticizing things and being like a hopeless romantic, you know, being just in a very like, you know, I believe in soulmates and that kind of thing, sort of energy, and I am happy and willing to believe the best of other people and of myself, and I don't necessarily, like, the page is also a more passive energy than the knight, so it's like I can wait for things to happen. I don't need to force anything to happen. I think this person's working on being like open to love and relationships without needing to force things to happen. It could be that they might have like just recently started to release past things, and they might be in an energy where they're like, I don't need to run towards a new relationship just yet. And this could just be their current energy. They might not be in this energy when you meet them, but they might, but they're still remaining open, is what I'm trying to say. I think this is the energy of somebody who believes that the right relationship will come towards them at the right time. And they're giving themselves the time and permission to kind of process whatever happened in the past, in their past connections. And then we have the Judgment card, and I think that it's very, very connected with a lot of these other cards here. Because the Judgment card does talk about like a rebirth, and it can talk about like where we've finished a phase and we're moving into a new phase, and that's you know, like we're a new cycle, and that's like being echoed by that's a message of the armadillo spirit that's associated with Aries, it's associated with the magician. So there's a lot of confirmations here that this person is entering a new phase, and it could be because like one of the messages of the Judgment card can be starting to see things clearly, perhaps for the first time. Like our judgment might have been clouded before, but when this card comes out upright, it's no longer, our judgment is no longer being clouded. All right, we're seeing things clearly, perhaps for the first time, like having a clear understanding of the situation. And it could be because of, you know, some like spiritual or divine intervention like drew this person's attention to things that were not working for them, and that could have included codependent behaviors, or it could have been through some event, or it could literally have been somebody sat this person down and kind of explained to them, you know, they like, here, I'm concerned about you, here's what I'm seeing. And it's like, or they could have gone through something that was hard and painful, like a kind of like a wake-up call, you know, like something might have happened. They might, like a past relationship might have ended in a very painful way, and that might have been the catalyst for them to realize things that they needed to change, if that makes sense. And the positive message of the Judgment card is that we're moving into the new phase, and there's a butterfly on here, having transformed and gone through like a rebirth process, so that we can enter the new phase in a different energy. And like, again, like, so we're not repeating old patterns of behavior. And that's like being confirmed for me by the fact that we have the Four of Cups card here. I think the Four of Cups, it's like this judgment, this person's looking this way, right? And it's like, I think that they're reviewing the Four of Cups and this Two of Swords. Like, I think that we have the retrograde, which says review. Like, this is an opportunity for this person to finally like review their past experiences and use their judgment in order to really think about what is working for them. Because the Four of Cups can talk about feeling bored or unsatisfied or disappointed with what we have. And it's like, I mean, it could also be like an energy of like stubbornness and not wanting to change. But that's not the message I'm getting in relation to all these other cards. What I'm getting from this is I think that this person's realizing the way they've always done things, especially in relationships, because it is a Cups card, I think, and emotions, like connected with the heart chakra. I think that they're realizing that they don't want the same old thing. You know, that they don't want to repeat those patterns of behavior that were not working for them before, back when they didn't know how to set boundaries, or might not even have realized what codependency was, or might not have like seen things clearly. You know, this might have been somebody who gave their love all over the place to anybody, and especially people who were not worthy of the depth of their emotions, if that makes sense. It's like people who used them, who betrayed them, who would just take and take and take from their energy without giving anything back. And I think this person had to learn a hard lesson there, about not letting people do that, because you know, this person didn't deserve to be treated like that. You know, so they had to learn with the discernment message of the Two of Swords. I think they had to learn, or they're currently learning, that there are certain people to whom they need to say no in order to protect themselves and their own energy, and that it's okay to do that, and that they don't have to feel guilty about doing that. There's an associated message with the Armadillo spirit that's like, no is a complete sentence. You know, you don't need to justify why you won't tolerate somebody's bad behavior. You know, even though that might have been something that you felt like you had to do in the past because there was like an overly developed sense of responsibility for somebody else's emotions, if that makes sense. So that's why I think the Four of Cups is here. It's like, I don't want this same old thing anymore. I want to use my judgment and review things so that I can figure out what it is that I do want, so that I can manifest that in my magician energy and be receptive towards the things that I do want. So what I'm saying is, like, I think this person's kind of like doing some soul work, you know, healing things in their heart, and they are open to a new relationship. So I don't want to say that they're like closed off, or even when I was talking about the swing of the pendulum, like their boundaries are so thick that you're never going to be able to connect with them. I don't think that's true. I just think that they're finally learning how to protect their energy, and that's something that is like one of their priorities right now. So that's what I want to say there. And then with the Two of Swords, there can be multiple interpretations for the Four of Cups, and there can be multiple interpretations for the Two of Swords. But again, I'm getting out like a more specific message just because of the other cards that are here. I think this Two of Swords is talking about this person, like, again, with kind of like the more passive energy of the Page of Cups. It's not the active energy of the Knight. I think that this person is giving themselves time to pause and reflect. That's one of the messages of the Two of Swords, like giving yourself time to pause, and it's like this person throwing the knives at the bullseye. Like they're not going to throw that knife until they're ready, you know. And it's like, okay, I'm going to give myself time to feel ready before I move forward in whatever way that means. So that to me speaks of somebody who's going through this review process, using their judgment, looking back on what wasn't working for them and what they don't want, you know, learning which boundaries are going to work for them, and figuring out like, where do I need to set a boundary to protect myself and my energy. This is just a confirmation for me of the message of the review card. And another confirmation of the idea that this person might not be actively looking for a relationship right now. That might not be like where they're focusing their energy. However, that could be like they are receptive to that. They are receptive to it, but they're just not like necessarily taking an active role to look for a relationship. So I wanted to say that. Then we do have the Armadillo spirit, which says set healthy boundaries. So again, that just confirms for me that this person is currently working on boundaries. I think that this is a very healthy energy for this person to be in, and it's amazing that like this is like it's a very healthy energy for you to be in at the beginning of a new phase. You know, like it's amazing that they've managed to learn these lessons and integrate them and say like, I'm going to move forward with this new energy where I can, you know, I have more faith and I am feeling like I can trust myself more because I'm learning about boundaries. It's like I don't even need to be able to trust everybody I meet. I just need to be able to trust myself to stand up for what I need, to ask for what I need in a relationship. And this card, again, it also carries a message about rebirth. It carries a message about starting a new phase, and starting a new phase in this like beautiful, healthy energy. It's like it's not even necessarily just about setting a boundary. It's also about communicating what your boundaries are and why they're there, and having that kind of like open discussion about that kind of stuff, which I think that this person is definitely very open to, especially because we have these two archetype cards, and these are interesting. I'm going to start with the Avenger card. It says, desire to balance the scales of justice, righteousness on behalf of society or oneself. And that was another reason why I brought up the swing of the pendulum. Because this person might be feeling like looking back on old things and still be feeling like needing to kind of process their feelings about what happened and what other people, like if people were taking advantage of them or engaging in codependent behaviors, you know, whether they were doing that intentionally or not, like however self-aware the other person was, you know, it's like they might still be processing their feelings about that. And one of those feelings might be righteousness, and it might be anger. They might be dealing with some leftover anger or resentment about the way that they had been treated in the past. And that might be causing them to be in this energy of like, and it could be like the kind of cardinal energy here might be related to like, well, I'm going to like move forward and I'm going to have the best new phase, and I'm going to show those people that they couldn't keep me down. And again, that's not necessarily like a negative energy to be in, you know, it's just that, you know, this might be like the part of their new phase is like being in that energy of like, well, I'm going to show those people, you know, that I'm finally seeing things clearly, and you know, and they tried to keep me down, they tried to take from me, and I'm not going to let that happen, and I'm not going to let it happen to me ever again, and I'm going to call it out with the storyteller. I'm going to call it out when I see it happening to other people. And again, that's not a bad energy to be in. That's like, you know, it's I think like positive and noble to have a goal like that. And to want to protect yourself and other people, and to feel passionate about that. There's nothing wrong with that. So I just wanted to say, you know, if I'm getting anything from this card, it's that this person feels passionate about what they have learned with their armadillo spirit here. And then we have storyteller, and that says ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. And what that tells me is that this, first of all, might be connected with the Page of Cups, because the Page of Cups is connected with creativity and artistic expression, particularly using creativity and artistic expression to process emotions. So this person, they might have an artistic hobby, they might have a creative hobby, that might be part of their job. They could be a writer, or they could just enjoy writing, or there might be like a social group or a support group or something that they're a part of where they share their story as a way to help other people. But this also talks about somebody who uses the act of storytelling to create order from chaos. So it's like this person, I think they're reviewing their past experiences, and they're kind of creating a narrative about what happened so that they can give those experiences meaning for themselves and for other people. That helps them kind of tell their story in a meaningful way, and it helps them, you know. And this is again, it's a positive thing. It's like saying like these experiences, and especially the negative experiences, they didn't just happen for no reason. You know, they happened because there was a lesson there that I needed to learn, or because it was an opportunity for me to learn about what a healthy relationship looks like. It's like creating that meaning for yourself from your experiences, and then sharing that with other people, especially if it's going to help other people. Like that's the energy of the Avenger. Like I'm doing it to help myself, and I'm doing it if it can be helpful. Like if my storytelling abilities can be helpful for other people, and especially with all this heart chakra energy, there's an emphasis with the heart chakra on our own feelings and emotions, and also on relationships between people. And it's like we're all connected in I forget what it's called, the flower of life, something like that. But it's just like a giant web of connections. Everybody is connected, and because we're not separate. We're all part of the same whole, if that makes sense. And it's like, I think that this person is like keenly aware of that, and that maintaining connections with other people, especially people who can understand our story, and identify with what we've been through, and like vibrate with us on a healthy emotional level, is very helpful for us and for them. And it's like a commonality, a shared experience that I think that this person really enjoys. So I think that's why we have the storyteller archetype here. And then I did kind of talk about Aries. I think this is a confirmation that this person is starting a new phase. They could be in Aries, they could have those placements. And this speaks to me about somebody who is feeling passionate and excited about starting this new phase. And it's like this, it's connected with this like Avenger energy, like, let's go, let's go do this thing. There's also a connection with Aries with setting healthy boundaries and, like obviously a new beginning, starting a new phase. Because again, the Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and it says act. It's like, let's go do things. Let's go manifest things. Let's decide what we want, review what happened, figure out how we feel about it, and then let's put our Avenger cape on and let's go do something about it. Let's go manifest what we do want. Let's go share our story with other people. Whatever that means for this person, however they are moving into this next phase, they're like an active participant. Or like they're driving the bus, if that makes sense. And then I did also kind of talk about the retrograde, which says review. I think I've been calling it the review card, but it is retrograde. And what a retrograde is, to my understanding, not being an expert, is when the planet, and I think this happens with every planet, it like appears to be moving backwards in its cycle, and that's why we call it a retrograde. And so this card is associated with when we're kind of like looking back over the path we've been down. Does that make sense? And it does say review, so it's like it's connected with the Two of Swords, like giving ourselves time, pausing our forward momentum to take a look at where we've been. And so it's like, I think like this energy is connected. I think that this energy is connected. And I think that this person is ready to move forward because they've given themselves time to review what happened in the past. And again, like with the energy of the Avenger card, I was getting a message. This person might still have things that they need to release, and like a lot of feelings about whatever happened here, that they might need to work through. Again, they might need to, at some point when it is safe for them to do so, work on adjusting their boundaries and not needing to be so strict with everybody. However, I think that this is a great energy because it talks about somebody who recognizes that it's important to take time to recognize our own patterns in relationships and figure out what works for us and what doesn't work for us. It's like really important to do that so that we can gain some sort of insight or wisdom, so that we don't repeat old patterns that are no longer serving us, so that we can move into this new phase in a different energy and make different choices that are going to help us manifest what we do want, rather than the same old thing that we don't want anymore because it's not working for us anymore, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm seeing for who this person is, pile 3, and like kind of their current energy, where they're currently at. And so we're going to move into the next part of the reading, which is going to be some information about the relationship itself. All right, pile 3. So I want to say sometimes when I pull cards and I ask like a specific question, Spirit kind of gives me like an oblique answer, or it's not like necessarily a straight, direct answer to the question. So what I'm saying is, when I was pulling the cards for like these tarot cards, I was asking, what can you tell me about pile 3's next relationship? And I'm not getting a ton of messages about the relationship itself. I think that this is your spirit guides kind of like explaining. I'm getting the sense that like the person in the first part of the reading is not the only person in this relationship who's kind of been going through it, releasing things, ending a phase, ending a cycle, figuring out what you want. I feel like you might also have been going through a transformation related to that, and that might be why this might have felt delayed or like it's been a long time coming. And the good news is, with the 8 of Wands here and all this beautiful messages up here, I'm getting the sense it's like this is Spirit kind of like explaining what's been happening, and this is them saying like, don't worry, it's coming, and it's going to come very soon. And the 8 of Wands also carries a message about something coming in very quickly. So I'm why like this is reassurance, I think, and this is context. So I'm going to get into the cards and share what I'm seeing. So with the Judgment card, when this card is applied to, first of all, I think it's interesting that we've had the Judgment twice. I think that this, it's confirmation for me that at least the person that I was talking about, the first part of the reading, has been, going through a phase where they've been starting to kind of see things clearly and review, take like a fresh look at things in their past, and kind of like it can also talk about coming to like a possibly painful realization that there are certain things that we might need to let go of, or certain behaviors that we need to change in order to move forward. And the fact that this card is here is telling me that might also be something that you've been working on. And that might be something that the two of you have both kind of like been working on separately, so that when you do come together in a relationship, you can be in kind of the like, I don't want to say the right energy, but you can be in a healthy energy where like you can have like the best possible version of your relationship, if that makes sense. So again, like the Judgment card would just be confirmation that it's at least been happening for the other person, like your next partner, if we want to call them that. But it could also be happening for you. Like you could also be in a place where you are trying to use your discernment, use your judgment to figure out what you do want in a relationship, and if there are behaviors or emotions or things from the past that you would want to work on releasing, that this might be something that might be delaying or have been delaying this connection, because I think Spirit just wanted to give you a chance to work on releasing and closing out any old cycles that needed to be closed out before they brought this person in, if that makes sense. And I'm also mentioning that because the next card we have is the 5 of Pentacles, and it's a heavy energy. Particularly in a relationship reading, this card can talk about a feeling of intense loss. It can talk about a feeling of abandonment. It could be that you like one of your previous relationships, maybe the one you had before this person, like your most recent one, they might have walked away from you. That person you're in a relationship with might have walked away from you. They might have betrayed you in some way. They might have really broken your heart and made you feel very abandoned and alone. That's the energy of this 5 of Pentacles card here. And what I'm seeing is there's kind of like been a progression here, I think. Again, at least for the other person in this relationship, if not for both of you. I think that if this is something that you have been struggling with, then I think that this has been maybe kind of like the progression here of, this is like you've been working on the lessons of the Judgment card so that you can have that rebirth and that regrowth and the new phase come in. And there's heart chakra colors here, there's heart chakra energy that's coming out of her heart. You can kind of like release whatever you need to release and let your heart desire like out into the world so that you can manifest your person, I feel like I'm going off on a tangent, but like, again, these two cards I think might be talking about what Spirit wanted you to work on before they brought this person in. The Nine of Wands talking about if you've been single for a while, this can talk about just like maybe like feeling like you're kind of giving up hope, like where's my person? You know, I've been single for so long. And the good news of this card is that you're at the 9, like the 9's almost at the end of the cycle. We have 2 full moons. It's talking to me about being like almost at the end of the cycle. There might be a message here if this resonates for you. The other person is at the beginning of their next cycle, but they're not necessarily rushing forward. You know, they're kind of in more of like a waiting, passive kind of energy where they're trying to remain open to the idea of a relationship. Whereas for you, you might be like not quite at the beginning of the next cycle yet. You're close. You're very close. However, there might still be additional things that you need to work on releasing so that both you and this person can be at the beginning of a new cycle together, if that makes sense. The Seven of Cups here is a card that talks about having options. And when applied to a relationship, it could mean, you know, that we're maybe not satisfied where we are, and we're kind of like looking at what our options are. However, when you're single, this can also be talking about realizing that you do have options. And unfortunately, sometimes that can come with confusion. And that can leave us feeling like distracted and unfocused. This card could also be saying that maybe whatever you've been dealing with here in the Five of Pentacles is so heavy, you haven't felt ready to kind of move forward yet into the next thing, because it might feel like too much. And with the Nine of Wands, sometimes carries a message about feeling exhausted. And that I could understand. The Five of Pentacles is a very draining sort of energy to be in. However, if you've been working really hard on releasing whatever your past connection was, dealing with whatever emotions have been coming up from that, again, this might not be referring to your energy. This could just be talking about the other person in this relationship, if they are the reason for why this connection might have been a little bit delayed. If there were, I was noticing there's like, it is the Romance Angels oracles, but there's 2 angels here. I'm getting the message this is like a divinely protected connection. Your spirit guides and your angels want this connection for you, and there's a chance that it might have had the opportunity to come into your life sooner, and it was just delayed because I think either you and or the other person wasn't ready yet. So if what I'm saying about the Five of Pentacles is not resonating for you, this could just be talking about the other person's energy. They might have been the reason for why this might have been a little bit delayed, because they needed to go through some stuff in order to be in their like Aries kind of magician, Page of Cups energy, which might have been the energy that their spirit guides wanted them to be in before they brought the 2 of you together, if that makes sense. Otherwise, if you are resonating with what I'm saying, and you feel like you have been doing the work and going through all this stuff, and you're wondering, like, where is this connection? Where is this person? The good news is we have the Eight of Wands here, and there's a lot of like positive messages up here. The Eight of Wands is a card that talks about success, and it talks about something coming in very quickly. And in a relationship reading, it's like saying, like you could get a text tomorrow, like it's that fast, the speed at which things could happen. So this could just be saying we acknowledge all of this stuff, and how hard it's been, and how tired you might be from like dealing with all of your emotions and stuff, and dealing with releasing things that you need to release and old patterns of behavior, and it's like a very heavy emotional energy. However, this is coming in very soon, and it's like the answers you need are coming. We just want you to look at the bigger picture. That's why we have the Judgment card here. Like, it's important to look at everything. So that's kind of what I was seeing in the tarot cards. Again, like, I'm not getting the sense that this is describing the relationship you're going to have with this person, even though that was what I asked Spirit for. Instead, they're giving kind of a slightly different message here, and that's okay. Again, I the way that I read is I just take whatever messages come out even though they might not be directly related to the topic that I intended to talk about, because there might be somebody watching who needs to hear the message the way that it comes out. So I want to say that. Again, with these cards, I want to reiterate the idea that this connection is being divinely protected, and that might be why, if you feel like it has been delayed or you've been waiting a long time, this, I think, is just Spirit like saying like it was necessary. This time was necessary. The waiting was necessary. Like the time that taking whatever time it takes. Like, it's important to have faith in the divine timing because it is being divinely timed. If that makes sense. But it is coming in very soon. We have this fast-acting energy of the Eight of Wands, and then the very soon card. We have, again, I think, look at the bigger picture with the full moon in Sagittarius is connected with the Judgment card. Like, I think that's this Spirit explaining this is the reason why, you know, we've been kind of holding this relationship back a little, as we want to kind of give both of you a little bit more perspective in terms of maybe like behavioral patterns in relationships, things that you might have needed to release, so that you can have this beautiful relationship that's going to come in. And with the answers you need are coming with the full moon in Gemini, it could be the case that even if you're not totally out of this energy yet, if you're still dealing with whatever this is, it could be that when this, like, and again, like, you might not find yourself at the beginning of a new cycle when this relationship comes forward. Like, this might be the energy that Spirit wants you to be in when this relationship comes forward, because it could be that the other person being in the energy that they're currently in could help guide you to some healing that that might be helpful for you. And especially the other person being in their Avenger energy, like and the Storyteller energy, they're very happy to share their experiences in a way that's going to be helpful for somebody else. And so with the answers you need are coming, this could be saying that coming together with this person could help give you some clarity here, and could help you see things like that maybe you were clouded by emotion or are currently being clouded by emotion, if that resonates for you. And I also want to reiterate, we have 2 full moons. So I'm getting the sense you might not be totally out of this phase when you meet this person or come together with this person. And that's okay, because there's somebody who can help you deal with and heal things that need to be healed, because that's, I think, something that they have really worked on. And then we have the Sagittarius, which for some reason my viewfinder was really focusing on that, the arrow, the bow and arrow there. So it could be that they could be a Sagittarius, or you could be a Sagittarius, could be confirmation for you, or have those placements. They could also be a Gemini, or you could be a Gemini, or have those placements. And I want to say, I think both Sagittarius and Gemini are mutable signs. And I was kind of saying, like, even though we had Aries and the Magician in the last part of the reading, I wasn't necessarily picking up as much of a cardinal energy from this person as I was picking up from pile 1. So they could actually be a mutable sign. And just take that however it resonates. That won't be for everybody, but I just wanted to throw that out there. And then we do have calling in your soulmate, which says your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together, which I think is interesting. First of all, I would take this as confirmation that this person is a soulmate. And if you've been trying to manifest, like if part of what this Nine of Wands is talking about is like you've been doing manifestation work and you don't know where this person is, the answer is they're coming, and that your affirmations are working. Whatever visualizations you're doing are working. You might want to work on that stuff. If you haven't been, that could, I mean, it's already coming in very fast. So, but it could help it come in a little bit faster. But I would also take this as confirmation, if you have been trying to manifest this connection, that your manifestations are working, and your prayers, specifically prayers associated with the fact that there are angels on this deck. Again, it's just giving me this idea that this relationship and connection is very protected. And then we have passion, which again is also associated with the Eight of Wands. Wands is like the suit of passion. It says, allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. And I just think this is saying, like, when this comes in, it's going to be very passionate, and you're both going to feel very passionate. I mean, this is a soulmate. It's going to be a beautiful relationship. But again, Spirit's not giving me like a ton of information about what the actual relationship is going to be like. What they are giving me is it's going to feel very joyful. And this other person is working very hard on their heart chakra. And I think that if you have work that you need to do on your heart chakra, it's going to help you open that too. And it's going to create a lot of passion between the two of you. And I'm getting the sense there might be some like mirrored energy, mirrored experiences here. And I think that that's really going to be like a big point of connection between the two of you. That's really going to help you. Like, you're going to understand each other on a soul level anyway, because this is a soulmate. But I think it's really going to help you just form like a really deep bond with this person. And then we have very soon, which says clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now, which would be like, first of all, it's confirmation for me that it's coming in very quickly. And then it's also with clearly decide what you want. That's confirming for me that if you have been doing manifestations, they are working. If you haven't, that might be a good idea. If you do want this relationship to come in, that might help it come in faster and give like your angels and your spirit guides and the universe, just a very, very clear idea of what it is that you do want. And that will help attract that towards you, and working on like gratitude work about it will really help attract this in towards you. So that's what I'm seeing for you today, pile 3. I hope that this reading has been helpful. If you did like the video, please feel free to give it a like. Please comment down below and let me know how it resonated for you. If you'd like to see more from me, you can feel free to subscribe to my channel. And with that said, thank you very much for watching Pile 3, and I do hope to see you in my next video. Hello Pile 4, and welcome to your reading. In today's reading we are asking Spirit about what is next in love for you. This is going to be about your next relationship, and I am, even if it's not like a full-blown relationship, I'm still gonna, approach it from the perspective as though this is going to be your next relationship. And then this first part of the reading is going to be about the person that you're going to be in a relationship with, and then the next part of the reading is going to be about the relationship itself. I want to give a disclaimer. When I was sitting with the cards and trying to tap into this person's energy, I cannot tell you how many times I just totally zoned out. So I'm going to say there's a lot of information here. I think this is a very exciting energy, and I enjoy being in the energy of this person. I have a lot to share about them, and I'm going to try to remember everything, but I'm gonna apologize. I might go off on a tangent, I might start rambling, I might lose my focus, because I think that that might be something that this person struggles with a little bit. I think that even though we have the Chariot card here, which does talk about staying focused, or the need to stay focused, I just think that this person might just be, a little bit scattered. So I wanna apologize if when I'm channeling that energy, if I'm just going off on tangents. So I'm gonna try my best to stay on track. And I want to say like a few things right off the bat. So first of all, I think that the tarot cards are telling a story. And what I'm seeing here is, because we're starting at the Knight of Wands and we're ending with the King of Wands, and both of these represent this person's energy, and we have the Knight of Wands and the Chariot are the first two cards, both of which talk about forward momentum, and then the next two cards are the Two of Swords and the Four of Swords, both of which talk about taking time to kind of stop and reflect. And then we're ending with the King of Wands. I'm thinking that this might be a story of like, this person started out as a Knight of Wands, they went through this stuff, and then they matured into the King of Wands, and this is their current energy. They are currently in the energy of a King of Wands. And I think that what is also interesting is we have the cat spirit up here. I was very, very drawn to this card. I kept staring at it when I was trying to tap into this person's energy. I'd stare at the cat spirit and then I'd zone out. So that's, I think that this is the King of Wands and then the cat spirit, I think, are very connected to who this person is right now, and I think they're currently, this cat is looking at the father archetype in the 7th house of relationship. I think this is what this person's currently kind of focusing on. But the cat spirit is number 13, which is connected with the death card in the tarot, which talks about transformation and rebirth. And so I'm thinking that, you know, this also says claim your independence. I'm thinking that this person has transformed themselves into the cat spirit, which is, I would say, connected with their King of Wands spirit. Oh, there's also a ginger cat on this card, which I thought was interesting. And what is also interesting is that, you know, this is number 13. And then we have the Chariot, which is number 7, the 2, and the 4. And 2 and 4 is 6, plus 7 is 13. So that's kind of, I was kind of making a connection that they're starting at the Knight of Wands, they're going through all of this and managing to use these experiences to transform into and claim their independence and become, like, embrace the energy of the cat spirit so that they could mature into the King of Wands. That's kind of what I'm seeing off the top of the bat. I also want to say, because these are, you know, the Knight and King of Wands, this person might be a fire sign, or they might have very prominent fire placements, or they could have a fire rising, because we have the Ascendant card here. And in particular, I think there's a connection with Leo here, with the King of Wands, and the fact that this is a cat, and Leos are associated with lions, which is a type of cat. However, I think I'm not really necessarily picking up on a specific fire sign. This person just might have a lot of fire in their chart. And then we also have 2 swords cards, which are connected with air signs, and then we have the 7th house, which I believe is associated with Libra. So they could also be an air sign or a Libra, or have those placements, or this could just be something that this person is currently working on, is the 7th house of relationships. That's something they're currently focusing on. And then we also have the Chariot, which is associated with Cancer, so they could also be a Cancer. So I want to get that out of the way right off the bat, the zodiac signs. But again, just take whatever resonates. It could be that none of that applies to this person and we're just talking about their energy. So I wanted to say that. And then my final thing before I get into the cards is I am picking up on somebody who has and the cards are kind of confirming, somebody who has a very strong divine masculine energy. And I want to say, I said this for pile 2 because their person had a strong divine feminine energy. When I talk about divine feminine and divine masculine, I'm not talking about somebody's gender or how they express their gender. So it could be that this person has a very strong divine masculine energy, and I'll explain what that means. But they are a woman, or they identify as female, or they are very feminine. How they express their gender is in a very feminine way. You know, it could be that, and they could also have a very strong divine masculine energy, because when I'm talking about divine feminine or divine masculine, I'm talking about somebody's energy and how they engage in certain behaviors in relationships. So for example, somebody who has this strong divine masculine energy, I would associate with somebody who is assertive, who is very organized, disciplined, somebody who has a plan, and somebody who has like a strong sense of being in control of their life, which again, that could be a reason why we have the Chariot card here, because that Chariot does talk about that. Somebody who has like a sense of direction, you know, they're in control of their chariot, they know where they're going, but it's in contrast to somebody who would have an unbalanced divine masculine, which would be somebody who was either not assertive and not stepping into their power, or somebody who was like controlling or domineering, or like has to be in control, can't let other people take the spotlight, which is not the energy that I'm picking up from this person. This person has a very balanced divine masculine energy, and so they are in control and taking responsibility of the things in their own life, the things that they are responsible for, and they're also, especially with the 7th house of relationship here, and the energy of the King of Wands, is somebody who loves collaborating with other people, you know, and wants to have strong partnerships with other people. And especially this card also talks about like having like an equal partnership and recognizing that everybody has something to contribute. And I also, before I forget, what I think is really cute about this King of Wands card is I would say that this king on the card is like explaining their plans to their cat. So this person, they might have a cat And, you know, there's lots of cats. We have the cat spirit, and then I think every single card here has a cat on it. So this person could very well love cats or have a cat. And if they do, they might be the type of person who talks to their cat, which is, I find that endearing. I'm also somebody who talks to my cat. You know, he's my supervisor. He helps keep me on track. So I thought that was cute, and I wanted to point that out. You know, and especially in terms of like relationship, you know, I think that and what I was just talking about wanting to collaborate, you know, I think this is the person, they like run their plans for the day by their cat and see how the cat feels about it, you know, and I wanted to share that because I thought it was cute. So with all of that said, I did kind of already explain why, why I thought the spread was kind of laid out this way, and how I thought it was interesting that these cards add up to 13, and then we have the cat spirit. So it's like this, I think, is the development that is leading them to claiming their independence and stepping into their cat spirit, which is a beautiful energy. The Knight of Wands is, I think that this might have been like the energy that this person started out in. Again, like I think they're currently in a King of Wands energy, but the Knight of Wands is somebody who is similar to the King of Wands, somebody who is adventurous, outgoing, funny, friendly, loves to party, loves to socialize, very extroverted, probably has a very big friends group, and is action-oriented because it's the Knight. And so this is somebody who like wants to go on an adventure, wants to fight that dragon, like wants to take things on, and it's like ready to go, like let's go, you know, that kind of person, like always up for a fun time. However, it's not necessarily a very focused energy. And then we have the Chariot card. And again, like I think these two cards are connected, and then the Two of Swords and Four of Swords are connected. Like I think something happened here that caused this person to realize that they could not continue. The Chariot is a card that talks about forward momentum. It talks about having a sense of purpose, having a sense of clarity about where you want to go, being in control of the direction of your life. And so I think this card is here for like a couple of reasons. I think that this is part of this person's personality, and I think that they've been able to, because they are in like a balanced divine masculine energy, I think that they are now able to have a sense of purpose and focus. You know, even though I was picking up on somebody who might struggle a little bit with maybe some ADD tendencies, where they might zone out. You know, and I think it's just because they have a lot on their mind. You know, they have a lot of different things that they're thinking about and focusing on, and you know, I just think they get distracted. But this card does talk about like focus and mental clarity. However, there's a warning with this card, even when it comes out upright, that if we don't stay focused and have a clear sense of intention about where we want to go, our chariot could tip over. And I think that might be something that happened to this person. They might have been in that like let's go kind of energy of the Knight of Wands, gotten on their chariot, realized that they didn't have a sense of direction, or they might have realized that they, because of the cat spirit specifically carries a message about overcoming things like codependency and enmeshment, they might have realized that they were not the one driving the chariot. And they might have said like, I can't move forward because I'm not the person in control here. They might have had that realization, and they might have realized they needed to claim their independence and get their own chariot in order to be able to even make a choice about where they wanted to go. Like, I think that's part of this journey this person has been on while they were maturing into the king. Like, this, I think, was an important life lesson that this person has been learning. And part of that is learning that, you know, you don't have to apologize or feel guilty for getting out of somebody else's chariot. You know, if you want to be the person who's driving your own chariot, that's perfectly valid. You know, but this person, they might have, you know, especially if they were dealing with codependency or enmeshment, they might have felt a lot of obligation to family. They might have had you know, some unhealthy dynamics with family members. If they might have had toxic family members, they might have had family members struggling with substance abuse or addiction. You know, and there was just like an unbalanced relationship maybe in their family of origin, or this could have been related to past romantic connections, where they might have just come to a realization that they were not going to be able to get to where they wanted to go because they were not the one in control of the direction of their life. And that was something that they had to decide to do. I think that that is why we have the Chariot card here. And again, like I'm seeing, I think the Chariot is like, that's a part of their personality. It's also a life lesson that they've had to learn. Then we have the Two of Swords. And I'm seeing this being connected with the Four of Swords. The Two of Swords carries a message about needing to take time to pause and reflect. And like think about where we're going, where we want to go next. And so it's like, it's interesting. This is the next card after the Chariot, because it kind of tells a story here. And especially the Chariot in this deck. Chariots in other decks might have, you know, it's somebody like moving fast, like going somewhere. However, the one in this deck, this person to me looks confused. Like they don't know whether to go this way or that way, you know, and they're at a crossroads. They're not moving forward yet, right? And then we have the Two of Swords, which can talk about needing to stop before we move forward so that we can figure out where the right way to go is. And I think that's something that this person has done. They've given themselves that time to really think about things, and that is connected with the Ascendant card up here, which talks about re-examining things. And I'll talk about that when I get into that, but I think that's what this person has taken the time, given themselves the time to examine here and really think about, and you know, and the Two of Swords, it talks about like reflecting on things. And then the Four of Swords carries a message about giving yourself time to rest. You know, especially if somebody has been dealing with a lot of codependency or enmeshment, like a lot of that stuff is so emotionally exhausting. You know, it's like constantly having to be hypervigilant or people-pleasing or caretaking other people. And it's like part of the Chariot message here, I think, is that this person realized they didn't have to engage in any of that. They could choose to walk away from that. They could choose to prioritize themselves. They could choose to give themselves a chance away from that to rest. You know, and to engage in self-care. That's another message of the Four of Swords, is engaging in self-care. I think that this person went through some sort of realization where things became clear to them that they could not continue towards the things that they wanted in life until they gave themselves time to step away from what was going on here and process and figure out what was working for them and what wasn't, and resting, engaging in self-care. That has been something I think that has been crucial, critical for this person's development. And I think by giving themselves the time to do that and stepping away from codependency and enmeshment, it would, you know, however that applies, if that was a family of origin thing or it was connected to past romantic relationships or whatever force was in their life that was creating codependent behaviors or thoughts and feelings, giving themselves time to step away and process all that stuff and review it with the Ascendant, like really examine what was going on. They've managed to mature into a King of Wands because they've claimed their independence. They've stepped away and done whatever they had to do to ensure that they were no longer being pulled into codependent patterns. And because they're like I think it was pile 3's person who was also dealing with recovery from codependence. However, I think that their person was in the beginning stages. This person, I think, is further along in the process. I think they fully embraced their independence, and they fully embraced like this person has very healthy boundaries, and I think that because they've kind of made these decisions and really examined what was going on with their past behaviors and stuff, and like given themselves that time to kind of rest and recover from whatever was going on here so that they could figure out how they wanted to move forward and what was going to work best for them, and to start taking care of themselves. They're in an energy where they can now think about what do they want in a relationship, what are they really looking for, and how to approach that stuff like that stuff, by which I mean a new relationship or a connection, or do they want, you know, the father archetype, do they want to have kids? Do they, you know, how are they going to relate to family, you know, if they have family of origin issues? You know, how do you overcome things like generational trauma and cycles of abuse and et cetera, you know, and I think that they're taking because they've taken the time and they're in this King of Wands energy, they're now like focusing on this stuff. And they're coming at it from a healthy perspective. Especially this seventh house of relationship is a beautiful card to get in a reading about somebody you're going to be in a relationship with, because this is something that they're very interested in, and it's something that they're working on. And this card specifically mentions wanting to be in an equal partnership. And it's like walking away from things like codependency, and people pleasing and caretaking, you know. And it's like meeting people halfway. There's two people holding hands on this card, and they're coming together in an equal way. Like each person is bringing an equal amount of energy and effort to the relationship, and that's something that this person is very interested in developing, and like navigating those things. Because they're ready. They've kind of learned what they needed to learn, done the soul searching, taken time away, recovered from it, you know, whatever. I think that this let's go kind of energy here. Like, this is still a part of this person's personality. The King of Wands is still very action oriented, you know, and I think this person's like, they're ready, you know, they've stepped into that, and they're like, okay, I'm ready for the next step. I want to find a relationship, and figure out how to navigate things in a way that's not codependent. I want to work on that, with a partner. So I think that's a beautiful energy. I love that. Once again, I have gone off on a bit of a tangent, but so that's why I think we have these two swords cards here. Especially swords is the suit about like, you know, our mental world, like our intellect, our thought patterns, things like that. So again, like this is like a very reflective kind of energy. And then we have the King of Wands. And as I said, like I think this is this person's current energy. They've matured from the Knight into the King. And again, this is regardless of gender. This person could be female, they could be very feminine, they could express themselves very femininely, however that applies to you. However, they have a very strong divine masculine energy, which is great. That is like, that's definitely associated with the cat spirit for me. And I mean, if you are looking for a masculine, then they could be masculine as well. So I want to throw that out there, because I know sometimes people get confused when I talk about divine feminine, divine masculine. Again, I'm not talking about gender, so I want to be very clear about that. So anyway, the King of Wands is somebody who is funny, confident, ambitious, fun-loving, wants to go on adventures, loves making people laugh, loves taking care of people, you know, with the father archetype there, but it's not in like a paternalistic or like controlling, domineering way, is especially with the relationship card. It's just this person, they love like sharing with people, they love taking care of people, they love like championing people, making sure people are okay, checking in with people, positive guiding light within a tribal unit. That's what this says. Talent for creating and supporting life, positive guiding light within a tribal unit. They want to help people. Like they're coming at it from a place of wanting to help people, but not in a way that compromises their own needs. Like they've learned how to not do that, you know. So they're approaching that from like a healthy perspective. And the King of Wands is a fantastic person to be in a relationship with. They're very loyal, trustworthy, responsible, and at the same time very funny, outgoing, adventurous. You know, this is the kind of person who might like take you out on amazing and creative dates, and like things you would talk about for years, like that. Wow, like I've never done that before. You know, that kind of thing. You know, they want to, you know, they have a developed sense of responsibility, and at the same time they really want to kind of have fun, have a good time, have fun with it, which I think is great. And then I have talked a lot about the cat spirit, just because I think this is like the key to understanding this person, like their current energy. And I think with the 13, they've had to go through a real transformation to embrace the cat spirit and claim their independence. And I'm not saying independence in the sense that like this is a very independent person and they don't want to be in a relationship, because this cat is looking at the relationship card. They're looking at the 7th house, they're looking at the father archetype, and they are interested. And especially the King of Wands is the energy of somebody who wants to collaborate with other people, and wants to be a guiding light and live within a tribal unit. And this might be somebody, if this resonates for you, only take it if it resonates. But if you are looking for somebody, you are interested in having a family, you want to have children someday, this might be somebody who is also interested in that. So just putting that out there. But like they're very relationship focused. And again, this card, like I want to be very clear, this is a card about like, even though this is a strong leadership energy here, this person wants to find a partnership. They don't want to find somebody to control or dominate. They want to find somebody that they can be in an equal partnership with. They want to find like a counterpart, to put it that way. And so the cat spirit with Claim Your Independence, this card does talk about codependency and enmeshment, which is why I brought those two things up. And again, that could be related to family of origin, it could be related to past relationships, or both. But this person is fully done with that phase of their life. Like they're not going back there. Like they want to have like a really healthy relationship based on communication, based on making sure everybody's getting their needs met, being honest about what those needs are, and making sure everybody has an equal voice in the relationship. And this card is connected both with the King of Wands and with the Knight of Wands. With the King of Wands, the King of Wands is somebody who's very non-judgmental. They're like it's a live and let live kind of energy, and I'm hearing the Nirvana song "Come As You Are." Like this person is like ready to meet you wherever you're at. They're very, very accepting of whoever you are, and that is a message associated with the cat spirit, is like just like live and let live. I don't need to control anything. I'm only responsible for myself. And things that are my responsibility. Obviously, if you have children, you're responsible for your children. But you know what I mean. Like they're not overly invested in other people in an unhealthy way. And then the cat spirit's also connected with the Knight of Wands, because the Knight of Wands carries a message about somebody who is willing to take calculated risks, and that is something that the cat spirit loves. They love taking like calculated risks like that. Not staying in one place for too long, trying new things, seeing what works, and like somebody who doesn't judge themselves too harshly either, was something that was coming into my head. And then I did talk about the father archetype, the talent for creating and supporting life. That could also be saying this person might be very fertile, so just throwing that out there, however that resonates for you. However, they just want to help people and guide people, and it's like a very kind of loving energy, which I love. And then we have the pioneer archetype, which I haven't talked about yet, which says passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. And I would definitely connect that with the energy of these wands cards. The wands is associated with like passion, creativity, excitement, wanting to do new things. Especially the Knight of Wands and the King of Wands both carry an energy like that of just being adventurous. Like I want to go do something that hasn't been done before, or I want to like have a new experience. And so this could be related to something that this person does for their career. They could have created a job for themselves. It might not have already existed. They might have a creative career or an artistic career, and they might have like kind of like revolutionized whatever they're doing with their time. I think this could also be connected with that message of like somebody who really needed to overcome codependency. This could also be somebody who's broken away from generational trauma. Somebody who has like broken a long pattern of people maybe in their family or in their life or whatever, who have engaged in unhealthy patterns. Like they've kind of like broken the pattern. Like I heard when I pulled this card, what I heard was it ran in the family until it ran into me. Like this person I think has the fact that they've embraced this cat spirit, I think is also connected with this pioneer card, because they might be the first person in their family to take a stand against whatever patterns of behavior were going on. And I think that might also be why they're examining this father archetype, the cat looking in this direction at the father archetype, might also be connected with this ascendant card, which I think is very important, and I will talk about it. But like, I think that they're very interested in re-examining the relationships in their life. They might have had a contentious relationship, or have had to go no contact with their own father. They might have grown up without a father. They might just have some past trauma or issues or things that they needed to work through and release related to their father, and that might be why they're kind of looking over here and saying, like, I want to find a relationship, I want to figure this stuff out, and it's like they might just have some issues related to their father, and that's why they're displaying the light attributes of the father card, because they want to be a positive guiding light. They want to maybe, if they want to be a parent, they might want to make sure that they're not continuing whatever generational trauma they might have had to go through. They might have had to reparent themselves. That could also be why this card is here. And they could also just be interested in taking care of people in a healthy way, because that, again, that might not have been something that they had when they were growing up. And it's like they were kind of examining, like, okay, what kind of parent would I want to be? You know, if I'm not going to continue the patterns in my own family, you know, what does that mean? You know, and so I think that that is something that it might be related to what they were examining with these swords energies here, that has kind of like helped them get into this King of Wands energy. So that's what I'm seeing with the archetype cards. And then moving into the Starcodes cards, I have talked a lot about the 7th house of relationship. I think that this is, again, I just think that's something that this person's like focusing on. They're ready for a relationship. And I think they're really interested in, you know, in having the type of partnership that is not going to repeat old patterns in their life, because they've matured away from that. They don't want that anymore. And they've kind of like recognized what they don't want. And so now they're ready to move towards something that they do want. And then we have the ascendant, which says entrance. And the ascendant is like your rising sign, the ascendant. And this card talks about re-examining things, and it's like in 2 different ways. It talks about recognizing that we filter our judgments and assumptions are filtered through our own experiences, coming to that realization, and then trying to remove that filter. And saying like, okay, I'm going to try to, and it's like that non-judgmental energy of the cat spirit and the King of Wands of like, okay, I realize that I have, you know, some assumptions or presumptions, or I might be projecting, or I might be doing this or that based on my own past experiences. However, those experiences are not universal, and therefore I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to kind of re-examine my assumptions and my thoughts about other people, and like, you know, maybe if this person went through some tough stuff in their childhood, maybe re-examining that stuff, and realizing that certain things that were going on were not normal. They were not like the universal experience, and kind of reframing things for themselves. And I think that that is really tied into what they were re-examining with this swords energy here when they were going through the transformation to move away from codependent behaviors. And this card, the second part of this card, is also talking about realizing how our behaviors and our actions and our words shape how other people view us. And again, like this can be applied to like, I really think this is the most important card here, because this is also tied to, you know, if somebody is, like from my own experience, I have also struggled with codependent behaviors. It's something that was really hard for me to break away from, and I'm really glad that I did, because you know, because it's almost like a prison in your own mind, to put it that way. But what I needed to do, like even when I was just like initially starting to even just recognize that there was codependency in my life, what I needed to do was kind of, even when I like started breaking out of those patterns and started setting boundaries and standing up for myself and advocating for my own needs, I still needed to recognize there were so many aspects of my life that were so tied to my codependent behaviors that that there were things I didn't realize I was doing. And that like involved, you know, always deferring to other people and what other people wanted. You know, it just like, even if it was as simple as like, where do you want to go to have lunch? It was like, I would always defer to other people. And I would just do that automatically without thinking about it. You know, and this card talks about taking the time to stop and think about it, you know, having those realizations of like, oh, I don't need to do that. I can have an opinion about where we want to go for lunch. And it's okay. And I don't need to feel guilty about that, you know? And so I think that, again, like this really talks about this person just taking the time to really examine both, you know, their own assumptions and prejudices, the things they're projecting onto other people, and the way that they behaved around other people and how it affected the way that other people perceived them and the way that other people behaved around them. And I think that that has helped them embrace their crown here with the King of Wands energy. That has really helped them step into the energy of somebody with a strong divine masculine, where it's like, I can assert my needs and I don't have to feel guilty about it. And by doing that, you know, I'm not causing other people to hate me, you know, because it's like people who are in a healthy, balanced energy, who are not codependent, are not going to be offended by the fact that I have an opinion about where we're going to go for lunch. Do you know what I mean? And it's okay for me to do that and to have opinions about things, you know, and to have thoughts. And it's like, it's not in a way where like this person is going too far in the other direction and always needs to be controlling the outcome. It's like in a very healthy way where they're like, I can have opinions and I can assert, like, I want to go get a hot dog for lunch. That's what I'm craving. But if the other person comes back and says, well, I was really thinking about, you know, having, like, I really wanted Mexican food, you know, that was what I was thinking about all day. You know, this person's like, okay, well, why don't we stop at the hot dog stand and then we'll go to the taco place, or like, let's, you know, we'll you know, maybe I'll have a hot dog for dinner, you know, and we'll go get Mexican. Like, they're willing to do that, but it's like they're still making sure that their voice is heard. If that makes sense. And then they're realizing that people respond really well to that because it builds trust. When you can communicate your needs and your desires and you know, and you're not constantly deferring to other people or just engaging in people pleasing, people will begin to trust you because they know if you want something or need something, you're going to speak up about it, if that makes sense. So I want to apologize, pile 4. I think you're going to be like a longer pile, but I love this energy and I have a lot to say about it. So that's what I'm seeing with the Ascendant. Like, this is the work that this person has been doing, and then this is what they're currently focused on. And so this, I'm gonna end this part here because I could ramble on about this person for a while. So this is what I'm seeing about the person you're going to be in a relationship with. And then the next part of the reading is going to be about the relationship itself. All right, pile 4. So there are some things I want to say right off the bat. We had the Judgment card come out for pile 3, and this part of the reading is like a very similar message, and I think it was pile 3's person who had also previously been through some codependency. So if you did feel drawn to pile 3, there might be messages for you in that pile as well. And again, I'm getting kind of like a similar message that I was getting with pile 3, which is sometimes my spirit guides do this where I will ask a question or ask for specific information or like be trying to pull cards about a specific topic. And spirit they'll say what they need to say regardless of, you know, my intentions for the reading. So I want to say, like, right off the bat, what I'm getting from the tarot cards here is these cards are not about what this relationship is going to be like, which I realize that can be frustrating to hear, because I was getting very excited about your person because they seem like an awesome person, and I'm like, this is going to be great. We're going to get like all this like Two of Cups stuff in the next part of the reading. However, that's not what happened here, and it's not saying that this is going to be your next relationship. This is what is next in love for you. However, the message of these cards here, I think this is your spirit guides taking the chance, and this could also be honestly be coming from your person's higher self. They might have also stepped in here to kind of send a specific message. You might not be ready yet for this relationship, and this could be your spirit guides or their spirit guides or some divine force coming in here to just say, like, it's okay for you to take the time that you need right now. If you have just gotten out of a relationship, if you are also somebody who has been going through a similar journey where you're learning how to step away from codependency, these cards are talking about something I think that is separate from what your relationship with this person is going to be like. And I think it's because you might be going through similar things. And specifically with the Two of Swords can carry a message in a relationship reading about somebody who just got out of a relationship and needs to take the time to process. So that's why I'm giving this interpretation that I think these cards are about your energy, and I think they're a message for you, that there might be things that you need to process. This might be too much. If this relationship with this person came in tomorrow, it might be very overwhelming because there might still be a lot of things that it's like important for you to process and really think about before the universe and spirit are ready to bring the two of you together into a relationship. However, that might also not be the case because I'm getting another message. Remember, this is a general reading, so you can always just take whatever resonates, and there can always be like multiple interpretations of the cards, and it could be that one interpretation applies to certain people and a different interpretation applies to other people, and again, just take it however it resonates. There could be another interpretation here that even though you might still be processing things and going through a journey on your of your own, that might be like in a similar vein to the journey that this person has been through, that might not cause a delay. How do I want to say this? I'm getting the sense that for some of you, your spirit guides are trying to give you some advice that this relationship might be a little bit delayed because they want you to focus on yourself and on thinking about your patterns and coming to some sort of realization about what is best for you before you move forward into the next thing. And again, with the codependency card here, this could just be confirmation of what I was saying in the first part of the pile, that that might be something that your person has managed to overcome. This could also be here. It says addictions are affecting your romantic life. This could also be here because codependency is something that you've been struggling with, or something that you need to learn how to move away from in your romantic life. It could be that you were just getting out of a relationship with somebody who struggled with addiction. And in that case, I think for some of you, you're being urged to take time to process, take time to focus on yourself and other things, because if this relationship came in tomorrow, it would be too much. And like your spirit guides want this to be the best version of this relationship that it can possibly be. There could be another interpretation, if this relationship does come in very soon, that this person is the right person for the next phase of whatever you're going through, because they might help you come to the realization of things that you need to release. Like this is, again, like I'm getting kind of a split that for some of you, I think there's going to be a delay because your spirit guides want to protect you so that you can work through things before they bring this relationship in. For others of you, this relationship might come in sooner because this person is intended to come in and help you work through things that might be related to codependency, that might be related to trust issues, that might be related to things that have happened in the past, because with Don't Let Your Past Hold You Back, and step out of your comfort zone. You know, when I was pulling the tarot cards, I did get an intuitive message that I was looking at these twos here, this is a message that's not really connected with these cards, but it was more like an intuitive message. I was thinking, oh, pile four's person's going to push them out of their comfort zone. And that was before I pulled the Moonology cards, and this one says step out of your comfort zone. So I think that if you do end up coming together with this person, like while you're still kind of in the processing stage, which is okay, you know, I think they're going to help you maybe see things in a new light or process things in a way that might be uncomfortable at first. However, you're being encouraged to have trust, have faith that things are going to work out, if that resonates for you. So I'm going to go through card by card and kind of explain why I'm giving this specific message in this specific way, even though it might be frustrating to hear, it might be like not be exactly what you wanted to hear. I just think that it's important. You know, if this is a message that your spirit guides or that your person's higher self wants you to hear, then, you know, then I'm going to call it like I see it, to put it that way. And again, like the ultimate message here, I think, is in this trust card. And then with the honeymoon card, enjoy the bliss of holiday time together. What I'm seeing with that is, first of all, there's an angel on this card. This is the romance angels deck, but not every card has an angel on it, you know. And I think that this is a message that it's like, trust and have faith that this relationship is going to come in when it's meant to, and it's going to be the relationship that it's meant to be, and that you are going to have good times together. You are going to have like a honeymoon together, and that's going to be like a big part of your relationship. And it's the bliss of holiday time together is also talking to me about like maybe stepping away. Like we had the Two of Swords in the previous part of the relationship, the previous part of the reading, and I think that like this person recognizes sometimes the retreat is the better part of valor, is what I just heard. But I think that sometimes they recognize you just got to take some time and enjoy like just being together and just being in your own energy. And you might go on a honeymoon. You might go on a holiday together. This might be the person that you end up marrying. But it's like, even though this is the overall message that Spirit wants to give, is that there's a lot to process here. With these two cards, this relationship is going to be ultimately a positive one, even though it might push you out of your comfort zone maybe before you feel like you're ready, and it might push your boundaries in a way that might be uncomfortable at first. You're being urged to just have trust and faith, because the person that I was talking about in the first part of the reading is a safe person to process things with, and especially because they have probably gone through a lot of the similar experiences that you've gone through. They're a very safe person to communicate openly and honestly about how you're feeling and about your past experiences. Like, they're a safe person to open up to about that kind of stuff, and they can help you process things, is what I'm seeing there. So the Four of Pentacles is a card that it can have kind of two different messages in a relationship reading. It can talk about if you're already in a relationship. It can talk about it might be like connected with that honeymoon energy of like when it's like the energy of maybe a new relationship where it's like we're so caught up in each other that we're just gonna like hole up here and just shut out the rest of the world. That like all we need is each other, and we're just gonna, it might come with like an energy of like we're gonna unintentionally neglect the other areas of our life because we're so focused on each other and the joy of spending time together. That could be an aspect of your relationship, and that's not a negative thing. That is a positive thing. However, this card also talks about, the Four of Pentacles can be a stubborn energy. And it can talk about remaining in a relationship or a situation that is no longer serving us because it's familiar. And unfortunately, there is a connection there that I could see with codependency. And if that is resonating for you, then this might be Spirit's way of acknowledging that, first of all, that's okay. Like, it's okay. It's a fully normal response to whatever's going on that has created codependency. And it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be scared to move forward, because if, like, again, I'm speaking from my own experiences here as somebody who has struggled with codependency, like, I fully identify and resonate with that message of, like, feeling like I need to stay in an old pattern or an old relationship or the status quo because I have no idea how to move forward, you know, or because I'm so afraid, like, that if all of my self-esteem is tied up in another person, or if I know that, you know, trying to break away is going to totally crumble my foundation and my stability and my sense of safety, why would I want to do that? You know, that's like terrifying. And I fully understand that. However, there's a message here with the don't let your past hold you back and step out of your comfort zone, that might be necessary in order for you to break away from this codependency, if that's resonating for you. And then we have the Judgment card. Honestly, I'm going to say if you're not resonating with this message at all and you don't feel like you have processing to do, if you don't feel like you've struggled with things such as codependency, or, you know, if none of this is resonating for you, this might not be your pile, because these messages are pretty specific. So I just want to say that. But if it is resonating for you, the fact that we have the Judgment card here is telling me this is either Spirit saying you're going to have this revelation soon, or you have just recently had this revelation, where your judgment, you're moving away from the Four of Pentacles. This is like a progression. You're moving away from the Four of Pentacles because you might have had some sort of wake-up call, where things have suddenly become clear. And it could be that you might have had the the realization that you might have been holding yourself back. And I do think it's important that these two cards are a very similar color. I think that this Judgment card is very connected with don't let your past hold you back. And I think that what this means when it's applied to a relationship reading is coming to a realization either that there are important changes that you need to make, or they're coming to the realization that there are certain people and circumstances and things in our life that will never change. And because of that, if we want to move forward in any kind of meaningful way, we have to be the thing that changes, if that makes sense. That's what this card is speaking to me about. It's like having that sudden clarity in terms of, like, either like, you know, I need to make major changes in my life, or I need to accept the fact that there are certain people or circumstances that are not going to change the way that I want them to. And again, the ultimate message is, in that case, I also need to be the one that's going to make changes or move away from things that aren't working for me. Or maybe if this Four of Pentacles message was resonating for you in terms of staying somewhere that is safe and familiar because we're afraid to move forward, the Judgment card being here is telling me you are going to come to the realization, or you have recently come to the realization, that you have to move forward anyway. You're going to have to step out of your comfort zone and stop letting this hold you back from where you need to be. And if you want to move away from codependency towards a beautiful honeymoon with the person I was talking about in the first part of the reading. So if that message is not resonating, you could take what I initially said about the Four of Pentacles, about being like, just like having that honeymoon phase with your partner and kind of locking yourselves away from the rest of the world and just enjoying each other's company. There could be an interpretation with a Judgment card here that is simply related to like having a sudden epiphany, maybe, that, you know, this is the relationship you've been wanting all along. You know, I'm not 100% sure about that. I feel like I feel like I'm being drawn more to the message of, you know, the interpretation that I'm giving, that I think this is advice for you from your spirit guides about things that you need to work on and process and let go of in order to move forward in, like, this beautiful, healthy, positive way in this new relationship with the person that I've been talking about. But again, just take it however it resonates. And again, if this message is not resonating for you at all, this might not be your pile. So I just want to say that. With the Queen of Swords here, again, like this, the Queen of Swords carries a very specific message, and it's like very different from the energy that I was picking up on from the other person, like the person that we're talking about. I think that somebody who is in a King of Wands energy would not be represented here by the Queen of Swords in terms of the relationship. Because the Queen of Swords, when it comes up in a relationship reading, can talk about somebody who is either so focused on other areas of their lives, like their career or work or spiritual development, personal development, that they're not focused on a relationship, and this is the energy of somebody who might be a little bit emotionally detached, a little bit emotionally distant, and guarding themselves, guarding their heart, which is also a message of the Two of Swords when it appears in a relationship reading. I think there's a connection here, and the Queen on this card is looking this way. So I feel like this is representing your energy, and I'm not sure whether this is representing your energy right now, or like if you feel like you haven't kind of gone through this judgment phase yet, if this is like a future energy, or it could be saying that this might be like the initial stages of your relationship with this person. You might be feeling kind of like you might be struggling to open up to this person, especially if you've been dealing with codependency, addiction, like issues in previous relationships. You might have come to a realization of what needs to change and things like that. However, you could also still be in that energy of being kind of guarded and a little bit closed off in the initial stages of the relationship. And then it could be that this person helps push you out of your comfort zone and kind of helps you open up. And if you are very uncomfortable with the idea of being vulnerable and experiencing like true intimacy in a relationship, then I would take this as like confirmation that this person is going to be the person that can help you break away from that. And I do want to be clear, the Queen of Swords is not a bad energy. It's just talking about somebody who's like either focused on other things or is just, you know, a little bit detached from their emotions. And again, that's not a bad thing. This could just be like in response to past issues. Like, don't let your past hold you back. Whatever that's referring to could have caused you to just be naturally guarded because other people have hurt you in the past, or you've had unhealthy relationships or toxic relationships with unhealthy people, you know, and it's like caused you to guard your heart, which fully makes sense and is very valid. So I don't want you to think that I'm being judgmental by saying that. Like, I totally understand being in that energy. However, again, I don't think this is the energy of the person that I was talking about in the first part of the reading, because they're just not in that energy. You know, especially because it seemed to me like they were looking for a relationship, and they're very interested in connecting with other people, like in a very genuine and loving way, and with like a very open heart chakra. And so again, this could just be a confirmation that might be something that you will be working on in this relationship, and this person will help you because you're going to build trust with this person. And it says the situation is calling for you to have faith, which I think is maybe related to if this part is uncomfortable for you. I think you're being asked to have faith that it is going to work out, that this person is a safe person to open up to, and that you're not going to backslide into codependency with this person, because they're not like that. They're not going to entertain that, and they don't want you to engage in that either, because it's like they want you to be happy and healthy, if that makes sense. So then I did already talk about the Two of Swords a little bit. And again, it does sometimes carry a message about somebody who's just recently gotten out of a relationship. So if that applies to you, then this could be advice from Spirit to like, okay, to give yourself time to process, you know. We don't need to be rushing into the next thing. Let's take some time to figure out what's going on here. And especially with the clear thinking of a Queen of Swords and the Judgment card here, it's like you might be finally seeing old patterns or seeing things a little bit more clearly. That might have been a moment of, again, like a wake-up call or a moment of divine intervention where your spirit guides might have stepped in and said like, okay, let's make sure that we make it very clear what's happening here so that pile 4 can you know, to start to take steps to move away from those behaviors. The Two of Swords is like, let's take time to examine how we want to move forward here. And there's the message of the Two of Swords, it's okay to take time to pause and reflect. And again, if these cards are related to like the initial stages of this relationship with this person, they're going to give you time. They're going to be very patient. You know, again, it's like that kind of non-judgmental kind of live and let live energy of like the cat spirit and the King of Wands. You know, if you communicate, the Queen of Swords is swords communication. Queen of Swords, very good communicator. As long as you communicate, I think, about what's going on in like a genuine, open, honest way, this person's going to be happy to give you the time that you need to process what you need to process. And again, I'm getting the sense that they've been through some very similar things. They're a great person to talk to about this kind of thing, and I think it's going to help you build trust with this person. This is a relationship built on trust, which is very important. And then another reason why I was kind of giving that interpretation of, I think that the other person is currently in a place where they're very ready for a new relationship. However, you might not be, because we have the Two of Pentacles here, and this card, when it applies to a relationship, can talk about feeling overwhelmed. You know, this is like the multitasking card. You might have a lot of other things going on in your life, and this could be related with the Queen of Swords. You might have a lot of other stuff on your plate. Like you might have things going on in your work life. You might have things going on with your family. You might have just like a lot of other obligations and other things on your plate right now. And this might be Spirit's way of trying to communicate. If this relationship came in right now, it might be too much to juggle or too much to balance. However, again, I'm not getting 100% a sense that it's not going to come in anyway, because it might. And the message of this card, if it does, is just that it's going to be very, very important to find a balance. And I think that the good news is that the person, your person here, is going to be willing to work with you. They're very much into that, like, you know, equal partnership. Let's talk about it. Let's work it out. Let's figure it out. Let's find a compromise. And that can be associated with the Two of Pentacles. Like if something is too much for you to carry, this might be an opportunity for you to learn how to ask for somebody else to help you carry the things that are going on in your life, or help you figure out how to balance everything. If that is something that is resonating for you. And then I did think it was really interesting, we got both the nodes. As your Moonology cards here, we have the South Node and the North Node. We have Don't Let Your Past Hold You Back, which I thought was very connected with the Judgment card. I do think it's important that the Four of Pentacles is first, and then we have the Judgment card, because I think these are related. I think this, you know, whatever revelation is happening in the Judgment card, I think it's related to your past. It might be related to this codependency card. And then we have Step Out of Your Comfort Zone, and I think that that is very related to this Swords energy, and then maybe to this Two of Pentacles, because there's just going to be like a bit of a balancing, reworking things, reevaluating patterns, figuring out what you want and need out of a relationship. And then the energy of the Queen of Swords is, you know, if this is representing your energy in this relationship, the good news is you are matching it with the King of Wands. And what's funny is I just heard fire melts ice. You know, just take that however it resonates. But I think they're gonna help you if you do struggle with things like fear of intimacy or fear of vulnerability. This person is going to help you overcome those things, because they are somebody that you can trust. They're very trustworthy. I think they've been through some similar things that you've been through, and they're gonna. It's not even necessary. I did say push out of your comfort zone a couple of times, but I'm getting the sense that that's not even really accurate. I think they're just going to lovingly encourage you to step out of your comfort zone, and that's something that you're going to have to do. You have to take that step. This is not somebody who is going to push you. You know, they I was just hearing, they might push you into a pool, but they might not even do that if it's dangerous. You know, if there's a danger that you're going to hurt yourself, they wouldn't do that either. You know, but it's more like they want to encourage you and show you that you can overcome issues of codependency. You can overcome trust issues, whatever is going on for you, whatever this past is. and I think they want to do that by example, by the example that they're setting in their own life, and because they want you to be happy. They want to see you, they like enjoy the bliss of holiday time. They want that blissful time with you, and they know that you deserve it, and they know because they've done it themselves. They're like proof that when you step out of your comfort zone, even though it doesn't solve all of your problems immediately, it really, really helps with the realization that you can have and that you deserve to have beautiful, equal partnerships and relationships in your life with people who are going to meet you halfway, who are going to be on the same page, and who are interested in building trust and intimacy in a relationship. So definitely in pile 4, this has been the longest reading, and that's okay. I did talk about the romance oracles. I'm not sure I have a ton more to say about that. And again, like I hope this reading has been helpful and that it has resonated for you, because this is like a much more like a specific kind of message. It is similar to pile 3, so if you did feel drawn to pile 3, there might be messages for you there as well. And again, like I hope that this has been helpful, even though it might not have been exactly what you wanted to hear when you clicked on the video. I hope that at least I've shared some messages that might help give some clarity, maybe. So with that said, if you did like the video, you can feel free to give it a like, and please comment down below and let me know whether it resonated and how it resonated for you. If you like my videos and you want to see more from me, you can feel free to subscribe to my channel. And with that said, thank you very much for watching pile 4. Thank you for watching the whole thing, and I do hope to see you in my next video.